Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Since 1999, the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run has been contributing millions of dollars to the health and welfare of Jamaican children. The event has become the largest 5K in the Caribbean, and thousands of people converge in New Kingston to participate in this event. Business Access TV is here, and I'm Javon Keys, and my co-host Jamila Maitland will join us a little later on. As you can tell, the sun is already out and the race is already underway.
What was the extent of planning that went into executing an event like this?
We've been planning Sigma for about a year now. The last 3 weeks are probably the most hectic of all. But, you know, we have over 300 volunteers that contribute to the success of this, including our sponsors. The group marketing department is the engine behind Sigma Run, and I mean, it's the hardest job we do all year, but it's the most rewarding as well. As you can imagine, there are several lists of persons who are in need, and basically the Sagicor Foundation board eventually makes the ultimate decision, but the decision is made mostly on the need of each of the beneficiaries, who has the greatest need. We tend to focus a lot on health and the health of children for the Sigma Run. So over the years, we've supported a lot of neonatal units, a lot of companies or hospitals that support children as well. So that is a major part of the decision making when it comes to choosing the beneficiaries, but the ultimate decision is made by the board of the Sagicor Foundation. Dearest to our heart, I think this year is the Lupus Foundation. Our Startline MC died from lupus, and so we felt that the Lupus Foundation would have been a good beneficiary to have this year. The Diabetes Foundation is also one of our beneficiaries. We don't pay a lot of attention to diabetes in Jamaica, so we decided that they would be also a good option, you know, for us to support. They need the support, they need some backing, and the Maypen Hospital neonatal unit. We have been there, we visit the hospitals, and we have seen I wouldn't call it deplorable, but there is great need in our public health system. And so I think, you know, those are all very deserving charities this year, and Sagicor is happy to stand behind them. I think we did a pretty good execution. We had a clean execution. I can't complain. There is no way to avoid the hours. We try our best. I mean, every year we try to do something a little different, set up the start line a little earlier, you know. But we have a lot of support. We have a lot of support from our sponsors. We have a lot of support from the technical people around us. I think we did a pretty smooth, not perfectly flawless, but we did a very good execution. We're proud of what we did. We're happy it's over. 27,000 people registered there, the most in the history of Sigma. And we've also raised the most we've ever raised, 52 odd million for our charities. So we're pleased. We think we did a good job. You can still donate. You can visit the Sagicor Sigma Run website, or you can call the Sagicor Foundation 1-888-SAGICOR and ask how you can donate. That is the number for our contact care center. They will put you onto the Sagicor Foundation, and you can still make a donation after today.
So with me now is one of the celebrity faces for the Sigma Corporate Run, Mr. Johan Blake. How are you, sir?
I'm feeling good this morning.
So share with us, why did you choose to contribute to the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run?
You know, the first time I contributed, Sagicor made the highest money, and they know that I have good luck, so they brought me back. And I'm here not just because of that, but to save life. It's a great cause for me to walk with Sagicor on this long journey.
So what would you say to other persons who may be thinking about contributing?
I said, don't think, just act.
Thanks for staying tuned to BATV's coverage of the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run 2019, the largest 5K in the Caribbean. Stay tuned for more happenings.
Dorgan Global Regulatory and Compliance Services. The regulatory framework is always changing, making this environment increasingly complex and confusing for businesses. Regulations as national, international and supranational levels are being issued, amended or expanded, which sometimes makes it hard to navigate through the maze of orders, decrees, guidelines and circulars. This is not helped by the fact that businesses also need to assess the potential effects of future regulations. Dorgan Global professionals can help you manage compliance risks and operational essential to achieving lasting business success today, as compliance breaches can cause considerable damage, which may even put the future of a company at risk. Dorgan Global can help you make smarter, more effective decisions regarding regulatory and compliance matters. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dorgan.global, website www.dorgan.global.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7 or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
We're here with Dayton Lawton, who was one of the very first contestants to finish the race. What was your perception going into the race?
Well, I do this race every year, and I'm always happy to do it. I think Sagicor has done a great job growing the race every year. It's 27,000 contestants ran this year. The management was great, and I felt good running this race today. Chris and the CEOs of Sagicor in the past have always been very astute about what they're doing with the money. So it's not just giving to a cause and you don't find out how these funds are actually being utilized. You shared a story about going to the hospital and giving them ventilation machines for infants. And it's always very important to understand how your money is benefiting the community.
What would you say to somebody who probably missed this year's Sagicor?
If you missed it and you can't be here, I would say still contribute. You don't necessarily need to run, but if you have an opportunity to give towards a cause.
So how was the race?
Apart from the bobbing and weaving, it was absolutely wonderful. You can see we're out of breath.
So tell us, why was it important for you and your team to come out to support the Sigma Corporate Run?
It's a part of our corporate social responsibility. We believe in giving back. We sell gas and we rely on the public to support our business, and we believe in giving back. So we thought this was a worthy cause to do that.
Well, this is my 5th time doing Sigma, and I didn't really train, but it was okay. Yeah, started Jamaica.
And you?
I started Jamaica. It was fun, and even though it's my first time, I enjoyed it a lot.
The run was wonderful. It's my once-a-year exercise, and I've been doing this for the past 5 years. I think it was good, so that's it for my exercise for the year.
It's my first time, and it's a really great experience. You know, I'm a track and field athlete, so I'm just preparing for a wonderful season.
And of course, adults are not the only persons who participate in Sagicor's Sigma Corporate Run. We also have the children. Could you tell Mosquito, what do you think about the race?
I think it was long and it was very tiring, but I managed to finish.
You're here with your siblings. What do they think of the race?
Well, it was tiring. I do track and field, but this was really exhausting and my legs hurt now. So.
Nice. So what was your position in the race? Do you know?
Well, the race was all right, but I gave up a few times, but I still made it.
Nice. Thank you.
Guys, they're representing the Jamaicans for Justice. How was the race for you?
You know, it was all right. A bit disappointed this year, but you know, next year we're coming back bigger and better. Time of about 37, not feeling too happy about that, but you know, still good.
How about you?
Well, it was good, but I was expecting sub 30, but 33, 42 could have been better though.
Of course, other than the fact that we're supporting the hospital project, I have to be running today because we're running for a cause. We all ran for justice today. And of course, I know my time is going to be very impressive. It's below 30. I'm not quite sure what the time is just for. But of course, we came out and we ran for justice, and I'm very pleased for that today.
So the Lupus Foundation will be one of the beneficiaries of the Sagicor Sigma Run this year.
It's awesome. Like every year they go for something different. And this year we're doing this for Elvar. We're doing this for the people who lost the fight and who's still going on and still pushing basically.
What do you say to somebody who probably doesn't know much about Sagicor Corporate Run and the beneficiaries and what it is that they're going for? What would you tell somebody?
Even if you don't run, just go ahead. Pay the money, make a donation, buy something. Like my lace, I just went ahead and just bought the shoelace just because.
Tell us what you thought about the race.
So it was a very, very good race and I really appreciated it. It's always good to run for charity because helping other persons, that's the way to go, And it was a really good race for me. I really did more than what I expected. So it's an awesome one.
Going into the race, what was your perception and what do you think after?
Funnily enough, I thought this was a 5K and at the end I realized it was a 5.5. So at that point I was really, really beat. But it was an awesome feeling and it's great to be supporting this cause. Big ups to Sagicor. I look forward to the next 5K.
One of the top running athletes last year. What was your perception coming into the race this year?
Well, I didn't think I was going to make it, honestly, but I decided I really wanted to do it and to do it better. But I thought that this year the race seemed shorter, so I must have got some extra energy, which I don't know where it came from.
The race is more like a fitness for you, or is it something that you'd normally do every year?
I've done it 3 years. This is my 3rd year, but I do a lot of walking every day.
So did you actually run with the babies on you like this?
About 2.5 Ks. Look what it says here.
Was that Daddy's cardio?
Yeah.
All right, so what do you think about the race?
It was fabulous. The water stops were strategically placed. Everything went well. First time for the babies, about the 5th time for me.
That was a short bit from some of the runners and walkers here at the 2019 Sagicor Sigma Run. Stay with us for more highlights.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life. Highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life runs art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but 4 walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
So as you would imagine, a number of groups would have come out to participate in the 2019 Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run. We're about to hear from some of them. All right, so Jason, what size team you have here today? Did the whole office come out?
Well, approximately 50% of our staff. We have in excess of 30 people here today from JAA.
Great, so why was it important for you guys to come out and support this cause?
Well, for one, JN Group overall has been a long-standing supporter of Sigma and the Jamaica Automobile Union Association. We specialize in mobility and moving people, so we want to ensure that our people are moving as well.
How is this in line with your corporate social responsibility?
Well, we are about giving back, and the cause, the whole Sigma is about giving back, so it falls in line with what we are about.
So with me now is Suzette Morrison. She's the team captain with the Wisynca Group. So tell us, why was it important for Wisynca to participate in the Sigma Corporate Run 2019?
Well, the Sigma Corporate Run signifies
helping other companies and helping the sick and needy. And we think of being the innovators, we always want to ensure that we play our corporate role and a corporate social responsibility to be a part of the good.
So did you run this morning?
No, unfortunately, I was here setting up to ensure that the team was okay, and they came out, 150 strong. We came out and we participated, and they had fun.
This definitely is a worthy cause, and giving back is an important thing for corporate companies such as ourselves. So participation and support for the obvious cause is very important.
Seems like you have a very large team. What's the number?
I think we're over 120 thereabout.
For me, it was a walk in the park.
Very easy, very easy.
How important was it for you to participate in this run?
Well, we do it for a cause, we do it every year, and we think it is extremely relevant at this time.
Plus, it also helps us to remain healthy.
All right, so there you have it from some of our educators representing the JTA here at the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run 2019. So after having such an early start this morning, Jamila and I were just getting a chance to catch up. So from what I've been seeing, the race has been going very good. There are thousands of people out. It's probably the largest year of Sigma Corporate Run, because for the years I've been seeing it, every year it gets bigger and better, right, Jam?
A little birdie actually told me that it's actually 27,000 persons who registered, and they might have even passed their $52 million mark.
Well, but that's great, because Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run is all about corporate social responsibility and helping to ensure the welfare of our nation's children. So it's always a great cause. Number of companies out, a number of groups, a number of individuals. We saw persons from different ages, from very small to very old, and they're going. So it was a good day, wouldn't you agree?
Of course it was. It really, I can't believe. I think the entire Jamaica is here right now at Emancipation Park.
Certainly, Jam, it was an extraordinary morning. Though we had to wake up very early to be here. It was great, right?
It really was.
All right, so we're going to take a break right now, and then we're going to head to the stage to see our winners for the 2019 Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run. Stay tuned.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
They say it takes a village to raise a child, but the world will one day need the leadership of that child. The time you spend with your child matters. It stimulates their minds and shapes the way they act. Talk with your children. Help them to better understand the world around them and to value what is truly precious. Above all, the most valuable gift you can give them is love. Play, talk, teach, love. Take the time. It makes all the difference. A message from the Parenting Helpline and Ad Council Jamaica.
So, Ms. Walker, tell us, why does Sagicor keep doing this every single year since 1999?
So it has been 21 years that Sagicor Foundation has been solidly behind the charities to really give back. Healthcare is a big thing for our brand, and we always want to find and identify those needs that really have a big impact on Jamaican lives. So this year we've identified the Diabetes Foundation of Jamaica, Lupus Foundation of Jamaica, and also the Mapen Hospital, specifically the neonatal intensive care units.
Have you been seeing the impact of the contributions you've been making?
Oh yes, we have. Certainly over the years we've made so many different contributions to various different sectors in the health area, and also in terms of children, we do support children causes as well. Last year we supported St. Christopher's Home for the Deaf, we supported the Spanish Town Hospital, so we try to touch every single pocket of the Ministry of Health as well, too, because that is a major area that really impacts a lot of Jamaicans' lives on a daily basis.
So, first of all, I would ask, why focus on children?
I mean, the children are the future. It's cliche, but it's actually real. If we actually focus on our children and we actually focus on the future and making that future so much better, brighter for our children. And we can't be selfish. We always have to continue to pay it forward, and so that we know that Jamaica will be a better place.
So how do you rate 2019 for the Sagicor Sigma run?
Oh God, 2019 has been amazing. It has been awesome. It has been off the chain. So this year we've broken 2 records. So last year we had a record-breaking 26,000 participants. This year we've got up to 27,000 persons. And also we shattered our record in terms of the target. So our target last year was 50 million. This year it's 52, and we went over a bit. So we did $52,400,000. So we are absolutely proud as a team to be able to give back so much to Jamaica.
Certainly. So what can we expect for 2020?
I mean, we're going to start planning right now, and you know, in true Sagicor strong style, we're going to come bigger, we're going to come better, and we're always going to be looking for that next needy cause. And there's so many causes in Jamaica that need funding and need support. So look out for us, we're coming.
Congratulations to the winner, Alfonso Cunningham. On the clap of Alfonso, please.
How does it feel to become the first place winner for the male wheelchairers in the Sagicor Sigma run this year?
It's a great feeling, but I'm doing Sigma for a couple of years now. So to be, the winner this time around again, it's a wonderful feeling. And I'm happy I'm doing it for, a worthy cause and so forth. So that's why I try to push out the necessary effort to be here.
Put your hands together. Sylvia, we're friends long time. Long time, Sylvia. Congratulations.
You placed first this year and last year, 5 years in a row. So tell me, how does that feel? What level of training or intensity of the training does it feel?
We have a cart where we run, we push it like we and run it in the grass every day.
How important is it for persons to participate in runs like these?
It's good because when we're out there, people can see us and see that anything they can do, we can do it too.
Describe to us, what's the feeling becoming the first place winner of this year's Sagicor Sigma run?
It's a great feeling, and this is my second year doing it.
Would you describe to us, what was the run in general? What did you like about it? What you didn't like about it?
I like the fun run part. We have the foam and all those stuff, and the fact that we're supporting charities. So yeah, it was a good run.
What was your time?
19 minutes and 2 seconds.
Male overall, his time, ridiculous. 19 minutes, 32 seconds. Will you clap up, Caroline, please? Hello, hi.
I came 4th overall and 2nd for corporate.
Everybody just give me
I represent Separate Limited, and this is not my first event, but it's a wonderful event. I enjoyed it.
We are here with Odain Davidson, the first place winner in the under 16 category. Tell us, how does it feel?
It is hard, yeah, very hard. And yeah, I get competition in it, and yeah, it was a good race.
Is this your first time doing it, and what's your time?
I don't know my time yet, but it's not the first time I'm doing it.
My name is Anna K. Swaby, and I'm representing Chisel Fit, and I came first in the female walk.
How was that for you?
It was, I'm going to be honest with you, it was a bit challenging, but I managed to maneuver the crowd and came first. So it was very good, but challenging.
So clearly this isn't your first time doing a 5K walk, because it takes a particular technique, right?
No, it hasn't been my first 5K, but my first Sigma. And my goal was just come here, come first. That was it.
But separate and apart from you coming to compete, I'm sure there must be another reason why you came here to represent.
Of course, there's another reason. The number one reason, of course, is doing it for the cause. That's the most important thing. So me coming first is just a bonus, right? So just going out there, doing what I can do for those persons who can't do it themselves, and hoping that I inspire somebody else to come on out and support the cause.
So you said this was your first year. Will we see you next year?
Of course.
So I know that this is something that you do. We saw you at the True Juice Orchards last year, and you're here again. How was this one for you?
Well, this one was a record break when walk for me. I'm improving each year, and I really came out here to get the record of 28 minutes. I did it, and I'm very happy. I'm looking for greater things, and I want to see myself out there representing Jamaica internationally. This is my 3rd year winning it also. The first year, 2017, I did 30 minutes. Last year, 29. This year, 28.
So will you be back next year?
Definitely. All things being well.
All right, thank you so much, and congratulations. As much as we didn't get a chance to run, we actually finished the race, right, Jam?
We did.
So that brings us to the end of our 2019 coverage of the Sagicor Sigma Corporate Run. I've been your host, Javon Keys.
And I'm Jamila Maitland.
And you've been tuned into Business Access TV. Serious about business.
Now presenting the Jamaica Social Investment Fund ICDP Enterprise Development Project. Entrepreneurial Grant Business Pitch.
This project is a $100 million grant that's seeking to target 50 small and micro business enterprises and give them training, capacity development, equipment, permits and license towards the development and the viability of their business. We have made a call for proposal in March of this year for entrepreneurs to submit for the opportunity to receive a grant between $1 and $5 million. We received more than 500 applications, and so we have now shortlisted them to 100. So we've invited that top 100 applicants here today, and they're going to have to pitch their business idea to a panel, and of the 150 will actually transfer and win the opportunity for the grants. One of the primary objectives of what we're doing here is employment. We want the business to be able to sustain not only the principals as the owners, but we also want the business to be able to employ at least 2 people. The next part of it, as we do in all of our projects like this, is it provides a learning instrument of how we can engage small and micro enterprises and take them to the next level.
Why we're doing this rigorous process, because we want to identify the best potential entrepreneurs for this project. And keep in mind that we are speaking about a loan, so we want to ensure that the applicants are committed, and that from a sustainability point of view, that upon receiving the support from JSIF, that in 2 or 3 years, the enterprises will still be operational and the broader objective of the project would be achieved. Once we have now equipped them and they should be ready to start the production and going, we'll then have a mentorship component.
It has been a very competitive process. Jamaica is filled with persons with drive and passion. We're expecting that the best will be selected. And then for those who are not successful, we are also hoping to link them to other providers of services, because I'm telling you today, from what I've seen, it is an excellent opportunity. It's worthy of note that many persons coming here today already have some kind of semblance of a business, but they need the additional support to move that business to the other level, as well as some persons that come in with just proposals to start from scratch. On behalf of the JSIF, we want to really thank the DBJ and other partners from UWI who came to be part of the panel, and just to remind you that the JSIF is here and we're investing for community development.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
It's season 12, and Wealth Magazine Business Access is here to keep you business savvy. With an impressive mix of some of Jamaica's most inspiring business moguls, we continue to keep Jamaica informed, empowered, and ready to dominate. Tune in Sundays at 5 p.m. only on BATV.
You're watching
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
As a teacher for over 8 years, we need to realize that the children are our future. We need to love them, appreciate and respect our children. No more violence against children. No more!
Roads remain the essential network of the non-virtual world. They are the infrastructure upon which almost all other infrastructure depends. They are the paths of human endeavor. That statement by American author Ted Conover always resonates with me, and even more so now that the island's road network is getting a well-needed facelift. Hello there, thanks for joining us on Jamaica Magazine. I'm Sandra Clark. We'll explore government's work to make our roads safer and more convenient. So please, continue to turn the pages of today's magazine with us.
How are you going with all of that? You're moving?
No. I'm a passport I come for renewing, you know. But you want me to show me no in that way full of crown and the long line I take you all day. Make sure you walk with some food. And...
No man, things improve man. Them have a drop box where you can use inside. It's finishing in no time. Yeah man, I'm not done.
Yeah. And some food man. Right, this. A drop box.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, September 25. Budgetary allocations for the 2019-2020 financial year have increased by $50 billion. The first supplementary estimates were tabled on Tuesday by Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark. This means the government will now spend $853 billion compared to the $803 billion that was projected in March. The increase was primarily driven by a $45.4 billion increase in the allocation for public debt servicing, with $40.2 billion for payment of debt amortization and $5.2 billion for interest charges. In the adjustments, $5 billion went to the Major Infrastructure Development Program to carry out additional work. $3.5 billion was cut from the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project due to the slow pace of works. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Justice received $530 million to carry out further renovation work at Public Building West, which houses the Court of Appeal and the offices of the Director of Public Prosecutions. The estimates will be reviewed by Parliament's Public Administration and Appropriations Committee, as well as the Standing Finance Committee, before going to the House for approval. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has directed the Ministry of National Security and the security forces to investigate and take firm action against all instances of public mischief. He also urged the National Security Ministry to bring the full force of law on persons who misuse social media to create panic. The Prime Minister's instructions follow several incidents which caused a disruption in the corporate area's public transportation system. Mr. Holness says he has been assured by the security forces and the Ministry of Transport that all the necessary arrangements have been made to ensure the transportation sector returns to normality. In the meantime, the Prime Minister has commended the Public Safety and Traffic Enforcement Branch and taxi operators who provided transportation services to members of the public during the disturbances. He also expressed sympathies to the families of the JUTC employee and the taxi driver who were killed. In the meantime, the Jamaica Urban Transit Company, JUTC, resumed normal services today following a meeting with the company's management, its drivers, and union representatives. Yesterday's meeting follows a halt of service by the state-run bus company. The disruption in service was triggered by the death of one of the company's drivers and alleged threats on the lives of others.
We have had meetings with the unions, drivers, ministry staff, and the police. We have consulted with the police, who have established a presence at all depots and along the routes. This is to provide assurance to the taxi operators, JUTC drivers, as well as to the traveling public. Mr. Speaker, we have consulted with the various taxi associations in the KMTR and NCOTA. They have assured of normal service by their members.
Transport Minister Robert Montague gave the update during Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives. Minister Montague says the opposition spokesman and other stakeholders have been briefed on the matter. The minister also says he will continue to monitor the situation and update the country.
We appeal to all Jamaicans to be calm and lend a helping hand where they can. We urge peace, calm, and a return to normalcy as soon as possible.
And schools have resumed regular classes following the return of public transportation in the corporate area. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information says the decision to restart classes follows discussions with the police and schools. Parents and guardians, as well as school administrators, are being urged to monitor the media for any development which may impact classes or their children's safety. While the ministry continues to monitor the situation, parents are being asked to reinforce the need for their children to pay attention to their immediate surroundings at all times. In other news, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has called on the international community to build on Mahatma Gandhi's legacy of advocating for the poor and being a catalyst for positive change. Mr. Holness made the call Tuesday as he addressed a special event honoring the 150th anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi during the United Nations General Assembly. The Leadership Matters function contemplated the relevance of Mahatma Gandhi's philosophy in the contemporary world. Prime Minister Holness says Gandhi's leadership and unflinching determination is a testimony of his vision for a kinder world.
Gandhi's doctrine of nonviolence and sacrifice, together with his vision for a more equitable world, is a source of personal inspiration to my own leadership, and I know that his life's work will continue to inspire new generations to come. Leaders who are committed to the well-being and advancement of all our peoples.
And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
How we run go? But I'm there, I work for the fitness, man. No, the fitness, I'm a care fitness, man. I'm paying a tax officer.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you don't have to run, man.
Oh, respect.
No, man, I mean, you don't have to go in there, man. You can pay vehicle fitness online.
Yeah?
Yeah, man, THG, I make it easy for you now. You know, so now the excuse.
Yeah?
Yeah, man. Respect, man. Hey, you still have to work on your fitness doing, you know.
I'm going to deal with it online.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Government is not only concerned about putting in road infrastructure, safety is also a major priority. Watch this.
Over the past 5 years, more than 120 children have lost their lives on our nation's road. In addition to this, countless children continue to suffer from injuries that are directly related to traffic crashes within 100 meters of school zones over the past decade.
But steps are being taken right here in Jamaica to change that.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. At the Azhar Primary School we go. And using the pedestrian crossing is what we know. It's no show. Walking in a row is a good flow. But using the cell phone on the road is a big no-no. Using the sidewalk is a great start. It will prevent shattered body parts.
Hazard Primary School is the first of 18 schools selected under the X Marks the Spot School Crosswalk campaign. And this is a collaboration with UNICEF Jamaica and FIA Foundation. And we selected Hazard Primary through our Child Road Safety Assessment research and report, which was recently published. And we've identified the vulnerabilities where children who are journeying to and from school
face several challenges getting to school.
To reduce the vulnerabilities and the challenges faced by the over 600 students at this Clarendon-based school, a number of infrastructural upgrades were carried out.
The Hazard Primary School was selected for this infrastructural upgrade, which includes a pedestrian crossing, bus lay-by, and the sidewalks to ensure the safety of the children attending this school.
As it is now, they're already practicing, learning to use the walkways and the crossing, and the wardens are there to start to help them cross the street. And I mean, overall, it's going to ensure that the children are a little bit safer.
When the cars are bringing the students to school, they normally come over on the sidewalk where we are supposed to walk. So now we have the sidewalk where we can walk on, that they cannot come over on the sidewalk and kind of hurt us or anything.
And that's not all. The school will get a facelift with beautiful artistic designs done by student volunteers from the Edna Manley College of the Visual and Performing Arts.
We approached Edna Manley because we wanted to bring a little excitement to the project, so we thought art is a good way to spread messages. It translates well on social media because it gives us good visuals. We didn't want to take stock images, we wanted young people's ideas, and so we approached the school and they said sure they would be interested, and so they came up with these designs. These are their designs and the designs that will go on the sidewalk leading to the crosswalk. So they were interested, they came up with their designs and they're here painting away, and they will be working with us on all of the schools as we go forward.
To conclude phase 1 of the project, 2 other schools will receive similar road infrastructural improvements, and before you know it, it will be time for phase 2.
Over the next 3 years, we will be carrying out this work in 15 other schools on a phase 2 of X Marks the Spot.
The projects cost approximately $1 million and was made possible by a number of sponsors.
I just want to say thanks to Jane Foundation and UNICEF for their effort and the support and seeing the importance of having this crossing section at the school gate that I know will benefit the students tremendously.
When parents are assured that their children will get to school safely, they will be more contented, and the children themselves will be happier knowing that they'll be safe.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
We're shifting gears now. Take a look at the genesis of the bauxite mining sector on the island.
Bauxite has been a stallion in the economic development of Jamaica from 1952, when the country made its first shipment of the product. Pulled from the womb of our earth, labeled as the rich red soil, though closely resembling a burnt orange or reddish-brown color based on how your eyes see it. This precious mineral is conceived with the continuous fulfilled hope of bringing money, major investments, manpower, and however you put it, massive rewards to our island.
Bauxite is the ore from which the metal aluminum is extracted. Aluminum is a very, very important metal worldwide because of the lightweight and the fact that it doesn't corrode as easily as iron. The first shipment of bauxite was out of Ocho Rios by Reynolds Jamaica Mines in 1952. A year later, Kaiser also began exporting bauxite out of Port Kaiser in St. Elizabeth, and a number of other companies followed after that. Alcan set up their refinery at Kirkvine and were shipping bauxite out of Port Esquivel by 1954. Then the Alcoa plant at Halsall, and the last refinery to be built was Nain, Alpart refinery at Nain.
It was the beginning of the viable mining of the ore, and history tells us how its development filled the coffers of our small island home. or did it?
Jamaica has been an important player in the bauxite industry since the 1950s. We were actually originally the largest producer. The important role of bauxite in our economy is the revenue that the country has earned over the years from the bauxite industry. Provide employment, we upgrade the work skills of our people so that we now have a lot of skilled workers in the bauxite industry. And there's a trickle-down effect on the economy because the more employment there is, the more spending power people have. In the 70s, the government began to play a more active role in the bauxite industry. So they began to acquire a piece of the action for the nation's benefit. And a levy was imposed in 1974 from which we benefited financially from production of bauxite. The government began to buy shares into some of these companies. Even though they were not the managing partners, we began to acquire a piece of the action for ourselves. The levy just allowed us to have a bigger piece of the pie.
And while the production of the mineral was still booming, by 1974, the country had taken a small step back to become the second largest producer of bauxite in the world, just behind Australia.
So Australia overtook us just by virtue of scale. It's a huge country with a lot of reserves and good quality reserves, easy to mine. In terms of production, we are ranked 6th in the world now, behind Australia, China, Brazil, India, and Guinea. So our production is in the region of about 10 million tons per year, and we're comparing to Australia that's producing in excess of 80 million tons. We have some challenges that these other countries don't have. For example, we are always mining in populated areas. So our industry has to always be mindful of the local communities and find ways to work with them in order to continue producing bauxite.
But despite that, the commercial mining of bauxite continues to be one of the most important contributors to the economic development of Jamaica, accounting for about 10% of gross domestic product, GDP. In addition to that, the industry represents one of the largest gross earners of foreign exchange for Jamaica.
As long as human beings require resources, they will try to extract it wherever they can. The consumption of aluminum is going up. So I see as long as we have reserves available here, I expect that mining will continue. For at least the next 30 to 40 years, we should have enough reserves to continue at our present capacity.
What we are doing is creating a project which will be looking at road development, yes, but water and wastewater along with the road development, drainage, bridges, transportation, and ICT. And I want to spend a little time on transportation because included in the greater infrastructure development program will be consideration for light rail to connect Kingston, Spanish Town, Portmore, and other urban areas that have substantial commuter traffic. So all of that is being planned out now for the next phase of infrastructure development in Jamaica. We're going to be looking in this greater infrastructure development program at the proposal for a ring road around the Kingston metropolitan area. We're going to look at the extension of the Mandela Highway improvement works from the East-West Toll Road to the Old Harbour roundabout. We're going to be looking at improving Halfway Tree. We're going to be doing the construction of several bypasses. The bypasses are important because it's not just the road, it is also a program of making our small urban towns more functional. When you drive through them, there's so many things going on. The town is growing, but its very growth is killing the town. So you have to, in addition to doing the bypass of the town, you have to do work inside the town. So it's a dual program. It's bypass and it's rural township development. We're looking at the Lucy bypass in Hanover. We're looking at the Hopewell bypass. We're looking at the Anato Bay bypass in St. Mary. We have already spoken about Long Hill and the Anchovy bypass in St. James. We're looking at the Port Maria bypass. We haven't put it here, but we are also looking at the spur tree. Then, Mr. Speaker, we're looking at drainage. So we are going to do it in a climate smart way. We're going to do it according to our master plan for drainage, which was completed a few years ago. And that now has instructed us that we have to do drainage works on Marcus Garvey Drive, Maxfield Avenue in the corporate area, just to name two, Maypen, Santa Cruz, Port Maria, and Montego Bay. So that's how we're putting together the plan. This will be the year of unveiling, or rather, the year we roll out the carpet.
Come down. Well, this is a real business?
I should think so. You don't see them dressed nice.
Look at me well-dressed criminals. Let me see, because you can check for a registered business on COJ website. You know that, right?
We can check online?
Yeah, man, things up now. You can check for a registered business on the Companies Office of Jamaica website. So many know things.
Yeah.
Transformation is happening across the public sector. Many services are now available online. We are building a better public service for all. Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Drones, more formally known as unmanned aerial vehicles, UAVs, or unmanned aircrafts, are used by many persons for various purposes. In recent years, there has been an increase in drone ownership and use in Jamaica, prompting strict regulations by the authorities. Commercial drone users are required to get a special aerial work permit from the Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority, JCAA, each time a drone or other unmanned power-driven aircraft that flies without a human operator on board is to be used. This is important in order to address issues of aviation safety and security, as well as national security and privacy. Operators of drones and other unmanned aerial power-driven aircrafts must apply in writing to the JCAA, and the applicant must provide all details of the intended flight. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority mandates that drone users must not fly these devices at a height exceeding 400 feet or 122 meters above ground level. Also, recreational users must not go beyond the maximum range of 1,640 feet or 500 meters, or within 500 feet or 152 meters of an organized open-air assembly of people. Nor should these drones or UAVs be flown over or within 165 feet or 50 meters of any person. The guidelines also demand that persons not operate these aerial devices over a private or public property or dwelling without prior permission. Unmanned aerial devices should also not be operated at nights or during low visibility conditions. Persons are not to use drones or unmanned aerial vehicles to drop or discharge any item to the ground. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority's guidelines stipulate restricted and prohibited airspace where drones and other UAVs are either restricted or must not fly. In the restricted zones, drones are not allowed to take off unless a permit is obtained from the JCAA. Prohibited airspaces are designated where no flights by these devices are allowed. Some of the prohibited areas include Jamaica House, King's House, the Police Commissioner's Office, Jamaica Defence Force Up Park Camp, and the Petrojam Refinery. Restricted zones include flight training areas assigned to flight schools and the JDF Air Wing, Newcastle Training Base, and other JDF facilities across the island. There is a 5-kilometer or 3.1-mile radii no-fly zone for drones around aerodromes, as well as Norman Manley Sangsters and Ian Fleming International Airports. The policy in Jamaica is similar to industry practices in North America and the United Kingdom, where permission from the managers of the aerodromes and restricted or prohibited airspaces are sought prior to the issuance of a permit. So, for drone operation at or near aerodromes, communication is made with air traffic control, which will dictate flight times, which is included in the permit to the drone operator. All drone flights in prohibited and restricted airspaces will require a notice to airmen or NOTAM. The NOTAM is prepared by the JCAA and issued to the aviation industry in advance of the date the drone will operate, that is, 3 to 4 days lead time. The Jamaica Civil Aviation Authority demands that UAV users cease operation of these devices once a safety hazard is apparent and should not resume operation until the risk is resolved. All incidents that occur while using these aerial devices must be reported to the authority in order for the cause to be determined and for corrective measures to be implemented. The JCAA inspectors and law enforcement officers have the authority to intervene at any time. So, operators of drones and other unmanned aerial power-driven devices are encouraged to heed the regulations or face the penalty if the matter is brought before the court.
The ongoing roadworks continue to help make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, do business, and of course, travel in comfort. But with use comes responsibility.
You know, ideally, we would not want to have traffic using any of the road until we have completed most of the items or all of the items that we have set ourselves in the bill of quantities. But in a situation like this, no ideal really exists. It is out of necessity and being practical why we have allowed traffic to be using this corridor. Whilst persons are using the road, we would want them to do so with extreme caution, recognizing that there are still items that are outstanding.
That's all the time we have for you on today's show, but if you missed anything, you can watch it all again on our website or YouTube channel. Don't forget to keep up with us on our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. And remember to always help make Jamaica a better place in whatever way you can. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Sandra Clark. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Violence is bad. Violence against our innocent little children is terrible. Pretending not to notice when we know or suspect that a child is suffering is awful and morally wrong. In the words of the great Nelson Mandela, there can be no keener realization of a nation's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Think about that for a second. I have a voice. It's one of my gifts. I intend to use it on behalf of our children. No more violence against our children. Make your move to stop violence against our children right now. No more. No more. No more.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV. Prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
On this episode of Wealth Magazine Business Access, we get to hear from the President and CEO of the Victoria Mutual Group, Courtney Campbell. Taking us on a trek down memory lane, Campbell identifies how faith, discipline, and leadership were a part of his core from a young age, qualities that would later prove vital as he excelled in corporate Jamaica. Campbell also shares his plans to use his extensive experience in the industry to revolutionize the VM Group, making it even more customer-centric and competitive in the financial sector.
I'm Courtney Campbell, President and CEO of the Victoria Mutual Group. I'm a country boy. I was born in Chapelton, Clarendon, to Osmond and Carmen Campbell, two public servants. Grew up in a small family. Just my younger brother and myself with our parents over the years. Actually born on Mother's Day, I just think that's special, right? And so as the first child of my mother and being born on Mother's Day, I think is really cool. But we actually grew up in Kellits, Clarendon, North Clarendon. That's where my parents lived at the time. And childhood days were really fun. We spent holidays many times with our grandparents. My mother's father lived in Colonel's Ridge, which is North Clarendon, and my father's parents lived in Rock River, which is just about central Clarendon. They had farms, and it was really fun to be moving cattle in Rock River, for example, from one part of the pasture to the next. And, you know, we'd spend some time with our cousins there. But also, we had some really wonderful times just playing at home. And my father taught me cricket in the backyard, right? And we would use some improvised equipment, right? But we had really good time. I remember roasting corn, and then some really good family fun times traveling around the island. My father was a forest officer, so he had, I think, a good career with the forestry department in the Ministry of Agriculture. He would spend lots of time in the hills of St. Andrew, Portland, St. Thomas, but also based in Monique, St. Anne. And he would work from there, and also in the Bullhead Mountain area of North Clarendon. So he worked all over the island, you know, helping us to preserve our forests and to ensure that the environment was protected. My mother was a postmistress, and she worked at the Mona Post Office, Watermount, Kellits, and she ended her last few years in the service were at Watermount in St. Catherine. But my brother, Alistair, spent a lot of time with our diplomatic service. He was posted in Japan at one point, and of course in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs here. Eventually left that to start a publishing business on his own, so he lives with his family now in Canada, right? But we spent, for school, we attended Kellits Primary. Right through our school life, whether it was in primary school or in high school, my parents really made some sacrifices for us. And you know, that was epitomized when we were in high school. So I attended Knox College, a boarding school, so we were boarders. And my father would leave home in Kellits to drive to Spalding to visit us on every weekend. take talk for us, making sure that we're okay. So I found that although we were from humble circumstances, we're civil servants, children, we ended up, helping other kids who were much better off with talk, food supplies, and even lending them money, right? Some very wealthy kids, because we had to be so disciplined in how we were managing the little we had. They probably weren't forced to be as disciplined. So I did first form at Clarendon College. That's where I passed the Common Entrance 4. My brother was at the junior school at Knox, Knox Junior School, and my parents wanted us to be together. And so they made outreach to the principal and the vice principal of the high school, Mrs. Jones, Barbara Jones at the time, and she arranged for me to be transferred from Clarendon College to Knox. So I started Knox in second form, what they call at Knox Class 8, and it was a really great experience being at that school. Today I'm so fond of Knox. I sit on the board now. What I was exposed to at the high school, I started to develop leadership skills and getting some leadership responsibilities. I was a prefect. Then you were involved in several other activities such as track and field. I started doing a little track, and of course I played cricket for the school and represented the school in one chess match. I quite enjoyed. I got a good beating, but I quite enjoyed it. And then when doing A-levels at Knox, then we did A-levels at the community college, and that was a further, experience to develop leadership skills. And we're involved in the student council there, and they had a canteen that was run by the students, so I was a canteen manager. But those A-level years were wonderful, developed some great friendships. So by the time we got to UWI in 1981 is when I started. I think we were well prepared for the course of study at the time. I actually joined university, was admitted to do hotel management, believe it or not, because that's what I thought I was passionate about at the time. Initially I wanted to do the law, probably 14, 15. By the time I ended A-levels, it was hotel management. I was dead set on managing a hotel. But during my first year, got some advice that the program that UWI had at the time for hotel management, which required us to start to do 1 year here and then the other 2 years in the Bahamas, that there were some challenges with the Bahamas leg of it. And so someone who was actually there advised me to try to switch to the straight management studies degree. And so I got the transfer into straight management studies and completed those studies in 1984. But again, my UWI experience was so much more than about the academics, right? It was about involvement in student leadership and in the other extracurricular activities. So I was manager of the football team, for Chancellor Hall. I was an executive of the University and Colleges Christian Fellowship, the UCCF group on campus. I was treasurer for Chancellor Hall in my second year, and then in my final year, I was a deputy hall chairman for Chancellor Hall and a guild councillor. So, if you think about it, when you combine the high school years with those years at university, lots of exposure to leadership, the ability to interact with persons from different backgrounds and different experiences, and living on campus, both in high school and university, would have given me some wonderful opportunities to develop my interpersonal skills as well and to develop a certain independence. So I think those were wonderful years that I cherish to this day. I had this combination in my heart of loving to deal with people as well as numbers, right? So I thought banking represented the perfect combination of numbers and people every day.
Caring Hands Season 3 continues to effect change in a changing environment.
Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, we know the wisdom that these people have.
Going beyond business.
The little leaders of today are our leaders of tomorrow. And with the proper education, we'll have very good leadership coming from that.
That's Season 3 of Caring Hands, creating change and shaping lives, every Sunday at 5:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. Wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
I had this combination in my heart of loving to deal with people as well as numbers, right? So I thought banking represented the perfect combination of numbers and people every day, right? And so I applied to all the banks at the time, right? There's a few banks, but the commercial banks, those are the institutions that I submit. So I was interested in manufacturing, any other service industry, just banks. And I eventually landed a job at the bursary at the University of the West Indies right after graduation. But soon after that, started getting answers now from some of the banks, in NCB at the time, and also Citibank and so on. Eventually, by February of 1985, I started my career with National Commercial Bank, and I was to be there for 23 years. I joined as a graduate trainee. That was a program they had at the time. Some called it management training, some called it graduate training. The idea was that over 18 months, you would be exposed to most of the operations in a branch, right? You wouldn't be stuck in one area for 4 or 5 years, but you'd be exposed in 8-week stints or 4-week stints of different desks in the branch. And once you were successful in that program over 18 months, you would then become a supervisor, which was a big deal at the time. Many university graduates, went on that program. Not all did well, right? And for different reasons, but I had a successful program. And so I became a supervisor at that branch, and Matilda's Corner it was. I started during that period the associateship for the Chartered Institute of Bankers, what is called the ACIB, which really, because at UWI, they would not have gone into details of banking. It was very general. But, one piece of advice that I had received when I was being interviewed for the job is that if you really want to do banking as a career, it made sense for you to do those professional banking exams. One of the things I have always been committed to was excellence. Whatever I was doing, I was going to be very, very good at it, right? I would take home the simplest tasks when I was learning them on the counter, right? And I would practice, right? Using sample transactions, I would practice them at home, and to ensure that when I returned the following day doing the real stuff, that, it was well done and very efficiently done. And so, I remember early days when I was in the foreign exchange department doing some complex traveler's checks transactions that, one customer said, "Have never been served so quickly with this type of transaction." I really set high standards for myself. I was transferred from the branch into corporate division, which was unusual at the time because the corporate division was really for the cream of the crop in terms of credit analysts, so they would pull most in fact, all of the account executive assistants from the credit department at head office. And I was, at the time, from what I can recall, the first to leave a branch and to go directly to corporate. I really threw myself into that work. And so by the time NCB in the mid-90s established an investment bank and wanted someone from their ranks to work in that small team, Mr. Rex James, as the managing director, asked me to do that. And it was a great privilege. So I joined together with a couple of other guys and we started what was then called National Mutual Investments. So I had moved from retail banking in a branch to corporate banking to then investment banking. And that was a time when lots of investment banking activity in Jamaica was going on, and in the mid-90s. I spent 3 years there. I think we achieved some of the objectives, or most of the objectives that we had set out. So at the end of that 3-year period though, I felt that I really now wanted to be on my own. So I spoke with the head of HR at the time, Audrey Basanta Henry, and when an opportunity came up, I was offered the opportunity to be the branch manager in Mandeville. And what a wonderful experience that was, right? Leading my own team there, but wonderful customers in that part of the island, and a great team. And to this day, I have solid friendships that were developed in those 3 years in Mandeville. My family moved to Mandeville. We worshipped at Ridgemount United Church in Mandeville. We're really part of the community. And when we returned to Kingston 2 or 3 years later, it was really a very emotionally difficult time for us, but because we thoroughly enjoyed that time. I returned to Kingston to take up the role of head of retail banking. So in 2008, I transitioned from NCB to First Global Holdings Limited, as a subsidiary of Grace Kennedy. And I'd enjoyed my time at NCB. I had some wonderful colleagues, some great bosses in Patrick Hilton and Dennis Cohen. Really enjoyed working with them, and of course the chairman, Michael Leachin. But I believe that at that point of my career, I wanted something more in terms of broader responsibilities. And yes, I was leading the largest business division there, but it was at the end of the day a division of the bank. And the question is, as I looked through to the rest of my career, was it going to be sufficiently fulfilling for me to be just chasing more profits each year? And I felt that I could do a little more. And so this opportunity at Grace Kennedy came up to lead the banking and investments division, First Global Holdings Limited, and I was happy to take that up. I believe that at the time I thought that it's more than leading that business, just being mentored by someone like Douglas O'Rian was going to be a great opportunity as well, and so I accepted that offer and started in July 2008. I think it worked wonderfully. And, so I had 8 great years there. That's another iconic Jamaican institution. So if you think about it, I've really been privileged. I've been blessed to have had exposure to executive leadership at NCB and Grace Kennedy, two of the iconic institutions in Jamaica. Soon after joining, that was July 2008, by February of 2009, I was asked to take responsibility for the entire financial services division. It was then called GK Investments. What we did then was operationalize a company called GK Financial Group. And so that really was the holding company for all the financial service businesses in Grace Kennedy, cutting across 12 Caribbean territories, the money services business, insurance, banking, investments. And I had a seat on the board of the parent company, Grace Kennedy Limited. And I would say to you that it was a rich experience, just being exposed to world-class governance practices, decision-making in a conglomerate, capital allocation decisions. And we did, I believe, achieve a lot. There was pretty significant growth in the business over that time, and also some investments that will, bear fruit in the future. And so just, the opportunity to be involved in those was just invaluable, right? And again, building up some good relationships with some wonderful and talented, very, very talented people. on the board and in the executive leadership team, and right across Grace Kennedy. So the next phase of my life, so if you recall, 23 years at NCB, 1985 to 2008, then 8 years at Grace Kennedy, 2008 to 2016, right? And you know, this great opportunity comes up at Victoria Mutual Building Society. And I'm thinking about this, you know, through the last few months of 2015, and saying that I'm enjoying my time at GK, at Grace. I'm really learning a lot and benefiting from great working relationships with everyone there. And the question is, how do I pull away, and why should I pull away from that to do this job at Victoria Mutual? And you know why I eventually decided to? The mission of Victoria Mutual. The mission that was behind the establishment in 1878. And that mission was a noble one that I think is still relevant today, because Victoria Mutual was established for the purpose of ensuring that ordinary Jamaicans, if you recall, this was 1878, 13 years after the Morant Bay Rebellion, 40 years after the abolition of slavery. Land ownership and home ownership, you know, were distant dreams for the ordinary people at the time. And so some clergymen decided that, you know, using the model that they had seen working in the UK, where, you know, these building societies were being established and doing reasonably well, that model was viable in Jamaica as well. So, you know, Reverend G.W. Dowan and some other clergymen decided that they would want to establish Victoria Mutual for that purpose and to help some ordinary people to get a breakthrough by virtue of just pooling their savings, right? And, you know, granting home loans from that. And I've always been concerned about inequality in Jamaica. I don't believe any one institution can solve that, but I believe that each institution can be a point of light, right? We need several million points of light, but let me be one point of light, right? Or let my company, let my institution be one point of light. And so that is what attracted me to Victoria Mutual. We have this ambition that, you know, 2 or 3 years out of university, you have a stable job, we should enable you to have a mortgage to open your own doors. You know, that's the type of ambition that we're bringing to it. Because Jamaicans are ambitious people and we want to facilitate the ambition. So that is about how we structure our mortgage products and so on, right? And how early we encourage you to start meaningful saving, right? Because that's a goal we have. Now we're committed to mutuality. And mutuality really means that the customers are also the owners of the business. That's why we call them members, right? So they're not just a customer, they're members. It's their business. And we believe that diversity of business models is good for Jamaica. It's good to have a business in the financial sector that's strong. We are the 4th largest deposit-taking institution. So, you know, we do have a pretty decent market share, right, which we're seeking to grow. But it's good to have such a strong institution like Victoria Mutual Building Society, owned by all our customers. All of these people operating in you know, doing business, living and working in Jamaica, and many in the diaspora, owning this business and the business being run for their benefit. I would want Victoria Mutual to, during my tenure, make a real difference in financial inclusion in Jamaica, making it possible for many more Jamaicans to meaningfully participate in the financial sector, saving, but also borrowing to acquire their own homes. I think we have to keep working at ways to make a breakthrough in that respect. I'm driven by, I think, my personal convictions. My faith is very important.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
I'm driven by, I think, my personal convictions. My faith is very important. You know, there's a verse in Colossians that speaks to whatever work you're doing, work at it with all your heart as if working for the Lord and not for men, right? So I really commit to doing everything that I'm doing with a certain degree of excellence because, you know, I believe that this too is kingdom building. I mean, I think that God works through all of us, right? In helping to make the world a better place and bringing more justice and righteousness. And I think that even in the financial sector that we can play a role in helping people to live better lives, and that drives me. Of course, I'm also driven by my family. I've been married to my wife, Pauline, for 29 years. I have a really great relationship. So she's a wonderful partner, a great support. We met at university, right? And so I see her as a great partner in this journey of life. My two sons, Adrian and Dominic, are also special. So we enjoy really good family times. And, you know, some of the things that I look forward to are just holidays as a family together. And we have had some wonderful times over the years, but not just holidays, just going home during the week and spending time on weekends together is something that's special. I've grown a lot in terms of how to develop strategy, in terms of how to lead people, in terms of the ability to make tough decisions, right, and communicate tough, difficult decisions. So I've grown a lot in that respect. I've grown a lot in terms of how to network, in terms of how the responsibility of, you know, taking public positions, right, standing alone sometimes, unpopular positions. So I think all of those experiences have helped me to mature over the years. Over the years, I've been very involved in public service. So, well, first of all, through the church, I have served different congregations, Portmore United, Richmond United, Webster Memorial, in different roles in social outreach, in evangelism, in discipleship. I've served at the Knox College on the board of governors there. I've served as chairman of the National Education Trust, you know, and that's the arm of the Ministry of Education that's responsible for stimulating private sector investments in education. So I served as chairman of that body for 4 years, and during that time we completed the construction of several school expansions, but also a new school, Cedar Grove High School, and then we spent some time developing the business case and getting approval for a project to install solar energy, PV panels in 20 to 30 schools. I think for me, wealth, true wealth, is eternal. It's investing in things that last, investing in family, investing in people, you know, so that the things you sow in people will last beyond your lifetime, and also in how you help to build a kingdom that is, you know, reflected in love and peace and so on, some things that outlast you.
Sundays at 4:30 p.m. It's all about Home Sweet Home. Get your half-hour dose of the business of real estate, from laws and concepts to reality, building, buying, or renting. Or what about trends in decor or renovations? Home Sweet Home will keep you up to date.
I'm Usain Bolt, the fastest man in the world, and you're watching Business Access.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
The Caribbean Academy of Sciences Jamaica, CASJ, hosted their 21st General Meeting and Conference at the University of the West Indies, Mona. Business Access TV has all the highlights, so stay tuned.
As the university goes through its 70th year, 70 years of service, 70 years of excellence, we're at the vanguard of educational excellence, and we extend heartfelt congratulations to our partners at CAS and CASJ as they commemorate their anniversaries and move forward. The theme selected by CAS this year is very befitting: science, technology, and innovation, vehicles for a knowledge-based economy. This collaboration amongst CAS, CASJ, and the UWI yields an investment in science, technology, and innovation fostered by a robust research development portfolio. It is essential as a precursor to the knowledge-based economy. Science and technology, as well as innovation, has now formed a part of the university's strategic plan. As you may know, our strategic plan is based on alignment and agility. Within Access, AC4, which is to increase the quality, quantity, and impact of research, innovation, and publication, feeds directly into this goal. We therefore are trying to, within the University of the West Indies, increase all that we do, not just in quality and quantity, but impact, since that which creates impact may not yet be established, but be impactful in a decision-making process for a country. This conference will facilitate a forum for the cross-pollination among different research fields. We will elucidate and discuss innovative theories, frameworks, methodologies, tools, and applications which may be of use in enhancing the quality of human life and contribute effectively to sustainable economic development. It is our hope that you will take this knowledge into your public and private setting, into your institutions, your agencies, your ministries, so that the dialogue may continue. And with the University of the West Indies being at the lead, we would like to offer ourselves to be that research engine for entities who would like research and development done. The substance of the policies which will come from our research continue to emulate, and I invite you to our next research days, which will be in February, where you can see the research from this faculty, science and technology, on display as it relates to policies. Last year we did medical sciences. This year we're doing science and technology. To all our colleagues at CAS and CASJ, I say welcome, especially those who are visiting for the first time, and look forward to a partnership which we think is essential and critical to the nexus in our regional economic venture and development. I welcome you all and look forward to a productive 4 days.
As a reaffirmation of the essential right of universal access to science in the framework of the 70th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Established by UNESCO in 2001, the World Science Day for Peace and Development highlights the importance role of science in society and the need to engage the wider public on emerging issues relevant to science. As the Director General of UNESCO, Madame Audrey Azoulay, indicated, the astonishing progress made by science in recent decades has changed our lives. Science and its countless applications now condition all aspects of human life. The resulting innovations are an opportunity for the development of our sciences. They are improving our well-being, facilitating daily life, and pushing back borders that seemed immutable in the fields of medicine, transportation, communication, and knowledge sharing. They are an engine of growth and wealth. UNESCO recognizes that sciences, technology, and innovation, STI, provide key answers to build peace and bolster sustainable development, and therefore we need more integrated science to strengthen water management, to ensure the sustainable use of the ocean, to protect ecosystems and biodiversity, to tackle climate change and disasters, and to foster innovation. This is why Sciences, Technology and Innovation, STI, stands at the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. In this spirit, UNESCO has developed a unique approach to promote global scientific cooperation between and within societies, combining global sustainability and local actions and knowledge with focus on gender equality. In this respect, UNESCO is pleased to support the forum designed by the Caribbean Academy of Science Jamaica chapter on cracking the code to gender disparities in creating knowledge-based economy, increasing female participation in STEM, in which the reality of gender parity in STEM with special reference to the Caribbean will be examined. On the other hand, today, as the complexity of the world's issues goes beyond the framework of a single discipline, UNESCO has made transdisciplinarity the cornerstone of its work for sustainability, building networks with multiple stakeholders, and promoting South-South and North-South-South cooperation to foster sciences, technology, and innovation, STI, for sustainable development and to encourage mutual understanding and peace.
Our objective is to promote science and also instill science culture in the society, and because science culture presently in societies is very, very low, and the government has to understand that without science and technology and innovations, the economy cannot grow. Technology we are developing quite rapidly in terms of the information technology and all this, but what is needed is the transfer of the technological aspects, high technological aspects into the society, and that has to be brought by the young scientists who are engaged in those kind of scientific endeavor, and also we need government to support this kind of activities.
At the opening ceremony, one of the points that really stood out for me was the fact that the different disciplines seem to, there's a little disparity. So humanities, we need our space, and scientists need their space. And besides my personal research, I'm also a facilitator at the Shell STEM program in Trinidad. And one of the things I do in my presentations is that I like to introduce the fact to students that STEM you can do, the world is open to you in terms of opportunities. So for instance, if you like art, you can become a biological illustrator. If you love journalism, you can be a science journalist. The world is just open, and I really wish that this conference, a lot of people will see that. It's not scientists by themselves. It's everybody. We can all benefit in some way from science. It's nothing to be scared of.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV, serious about business.
It has become a bit of a cliche to state that science and technology are key drivers of economic growth in the 21st century. Many researchers have pointed to the Industrial Revolution of the 19th century and the scientific revolution of the 20th century as setting the conditions that have given rise to today's global knowledge-based creative economy. Nowhere is the impact of science and technology on our lives more obvious than in the rapid innovations in communications and computing technologies, leading to more countries being able to participate more fully in the global economy. Today, new technologies are transforming and expanding many economies in the same way that earlier industrial and technological advances changed the course of history. Indeed, a growing percentage of wealth in the world's largest economies is created by knowledge-based industries that rely heavily on human capital and technological innovation. We are, of course, challenged by the question, what exactly is this knowledge-based economy? The World Bank and the OECD have defined it as an economy where knowledge is created, acquired, transmitted, and used effectively and creatively by organizations, enterprises, individuals, and communities to develop groundbreaking ideas and models. One example, often cited, of an economy that was rapidly transformed by an embrace of science and technology is that of South Korea. Its rapid progress in the knowledge and information revolution was attributed, to a large extent, to its widespread internet usage. The government recognized very early the need for the country to get connected to the web, and in the late 1990s invested heavily in broadband infrastructure. Privatization and deregulation in the telecom sector also led to South Korea being amongst the most wired nations in the world, with over 80% of households hooked up to broadband. Well, what of us here in the Caribbean? If we are to see any significant movement in our economic development as knowledge-based economies, a number of things will have to be addressed, including economic and institutional infrastructure, information infrastructure, and education. The government of Jamaica has recognized this and has committed to investing more in STEM education. In fact, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM programs in schools remain one of high priority for the Ministry of Education, Youth, and Information. Just by way of background, the STEM initiative was started in a formal and concerted way within the ministry in May 2014 and has continued under the current administration. The ministry established a STEM steering committee to provide oversight to the work of the STEM team, as well as the STEM technical committee that is driving the research and training component of the initiative. Under the new administration, the following have been done. Steering committee meeting would have been held in September 2016. New members invited to join the STEM committee. Just over $200 million have been budgeted to fund STEM and some non-STEM schools for the procurement of STEM-related equipment and material. The following tasks have been undertaken and are either complete or near completion. The first being a STEM concept paper has been completed and ratified by the STEM steering committee. And that, of course, sets out the thrust, the undergirding thrust of what it is that the ministry is embarked on. Secondly, Work on a list of criteria for certification of STEM institutions for the academic year started in 2016 and is now about 90% complete. Thirdly, the Sydney Pagan Agricultural School, and in terms of the geography and locale, that's down in St. Elizabeth, northeast St. Elizabeth to be precise. So the Sydney Pagan Agricultural School has been transformed into a STEM academy. This was initiated in September 2014 with some 100 students at grade 7 and approximately $20 million having been spent on infrastructure to include upgrading of classrooms and laboratories. Equipment and material for the science program are being provided to enhance the project-based learning in accordance with STEM methodology. Recruitment of additional staff has been done, and extensive training of the academic and other staff members done to build their capacity. So upskilling would be an important part of this entire initiative.
I am working in the area of materials chemistry, and a considerable amount of my research is about developing new materials for renewable energy technologies. I also do, again, an extensive amount of work in catalytic chemistry, that's developing new catalysts for key industrial processes. I think the area of renewable energy technologies is of key importance for the whole world, but of course for the Caribbean nations. I think, for instance, there is clearly great scope in the Caribbean for greater deployment of solar energy technologies, but maybe other energy technologies as well. We need to move away from the current dependence on fossil fuels. We need, for instance, or perhaps in particular, to attract high-quality students into the STEM field if we're going to have vigorous research community. That is a challenge. It's a challenge for the scientific community to present the work they're doing in an accessible way, particularly to young people, so that it seems an attractive area and an attractive career. It's a challenge for government as well to ensure that the facilities for high-quality STEM education are receive high priority.
Your presentation was entitled Rethinking STEM, Higher Education in the 21st Century. Highlight the main points of your presentation.
The main points that I made are, first of all, that today's students are facing a very different world than the ones that I grew up in. Today's STEM fields are really critical for the jobs of the future. So we need more students who are competent in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and who can apply their understanding of those fields to practical problems, producing new solutions to problems that humanity faces. What I stressed in my presentation is that the way we teach students is pivotal for increasing and sustaining their interest in STEM. That's important for future STEM professionals, but it's also important for the citizenry in general to understand what science and technology and engineering and mathematics are and why they're important for society. So we need to deal with education from general level all the way to the highly professional level. And I also stressed very much in my presentation that the way we teach, the way we deal with our learners in university is very important. The old way was lecturing, that is talking at the students, and evidence now shows that that's not a good way to learn. What I stress is the importance of what we call active learning. This is where students engage with each other, they discuss in real time in class the issues that are being presented to them, they learn to apply their knowledge on the spot, they learn to work in groups because that's critically important for the future. Employers want teamwork. They don't want solo workers. They want nimble, innovative thinkers, and that the way to get them is to have them talk to each other and energize each other and discover how the knowledge that they're learning can be used. Scientific research and the companion of that, which is engineering, to apply knowledge for technological advancement. This is crucially important for the economies of nations going forward into what we call the fourth industrial revolution, where data science and cyber science and electronic digital communications, all of these things that didn't exist in the 20th century are now pivotal going forward. And any country that sustains interest in those fields and equips students with the tools to be innovators, to be producers of new knowledge, that's going to fuel the economy of that country. So there's no going back. We're not going back away from this highly technological future. So we want to prepare kids to be ready for it.
We're an investment management company. We're a licensed securities dealer, and we trade and invest mainly in US dollar denominated securities that trade on the global market, and mainly fixed income securities, bonds, and so on. Those are the main products that we offer for our clients. And our clients are mainly people looking for medium to long-term investments that will retain their value and give them a good return. It's really great to bring scientists together here in Jamaica from all across the Caribbean and to spend 3 or 4 days exchanging ideas, papers, etc. We're very happy. We have a very good relationship with the university. We are the investment house of choice for the discerning investors, the people who are looking for medium to long-term returns, people investing for their pensions, any sort of medium to long-term investment. We think we offer very good products and services in that regard.
The Good Life, your trusted source for useful health and wellness information, lifestyle tips for the mind, body, and soul. Tune in Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. on Business Access TV.
Ready for cable for as little as $100? Ready for no monthly cable bill? Ready for 10 TV channels absolutely free? Then pick up our Ready TV box at authorized stores for $4,500. Hook it up to your TV set, then top it up with Ready Credit for 1, 7, or 30 days. Buy now and get $1,000 free Ready Credit and start watching your favorite shows. Pick it up, hook it up, top it up. Ready TV, prepaid cable TV when you're ready. Now serving Kingston and St. Catherine. Limited time offer while stocks last. Conditions apply.
So we're here with Kiara Cosmetics, a wellness and beauty company that specializes in all natural products that are designed to enhance your beauty naturally. And we utilize Jamaican materials, indigenous Jamaican plant extracts and essential oils to bring out that key properties that will give you what you need to help take care of your skin, hair, and nails. So Kiara Cosmetics, we formulate unique products, and our products are really geared towards our population, because what you find on our markets is flooded with imported products that we're developing European markets or with persons with different physiological profile than we have. So Kiara Cosmetics products are specially designed, expertly formulated, taking all these things in mind. So when you utilize your products, you actually get the benefits that you wanted and what the products were intended for. Cosmetics is a science. It's a very intense science. As a matter of fact, it's a very specialized area that you have to study and be trained in. When you know your ingredients, know how they function, and not just how they function as individual ingredients, but in combination with each other, is very essential, and that's what science does when you're talking about cosmetic chemistry. So the response has been good, especially from the audience as well. A lot of persons coming in and having that confidence, knowing that the products were developed by a chemist. It actually helps, and knowing that I'm UE bred, that also goes a long way. So it has been phenomenal. So our products are available right across Jamaica. They're also available in the US. We ship to the US. We actually keep inventory in New York. So you can order online at www.kiaracosmetics.com. You can follow us on Instagram as well as on Facebook, where you can keep up to date with what is happening. We also have a blog on our website that is teaching persons general knowledge about taking care of their hair, skin and nails, because what we really believe in is not just beauty, but your natural beauty and enhancing that natural beauty. We all have issues. We all have something or another that we are not so confident about, and that's what Kiara Cosmetics is about. How do you build that confidence without putting on too much, without changing who you are? So what we're doing is enhancing your natural beauty.
Well, Conrad Douglas and Associates and its subsidiary Estec are the pioneering companies in the Caribbean, Jamaica, for environmental management and project development and feasibility analysis. Conrad Douglas and Associates Limited was established 33 years ago, so we're heading into our 34th year. Estec, which is a subsidiary, was established 23 years ago, so that's 24 years in the industry. We have done significant work in Jamaica in all industry stores in bauxite, and we have also worked internationally in a number of industries within the Caribbean also, so our experience is very international. Presently, we're very active also now in the environmental management and project development phase, and we are integrally now into the energy sector transformation with natural gas, where we are doing the environmental management for New Fortress Energy, who is bringing natural gas to a number of entities within the Jamaican economy. So this speaks very well for the industry, because it now opens up these companies to the need for significant and proper environmental management and planning to ensure that we in Jamaica are protecting our natural resources while we advance the economy. And it can be done, and that is what we have been doing for the last 34 years. We have been developing projects, implementing them, and ensuring that the environment is protected. We are engaged in sustainable development at its highest level. CAS is the Caribbean Academy of Sciences, and now we are premier sponsors for this event. And it is a very good partnership because we are in the business of science and technology and information. And this year's theme of using science and technology as a vehicle for development is well within our mantra and our what we believe should be the guiding vehicle for development: science, technology, and information.
Showcase Jamaica Tours is a premier tour company that offers guided tours all across the island of Jamaica. We pride ourselves in the quality of our tour guides. People spend a lot of money to come to Jamaica, so we want to know they get value for their money. They feel at the end of the tour that they have really got value for the money that they have spent. Our tours tend to be more personalized, so we are less of the big bus operation and smaller personalized tours, so we can coin any tour to suit the needs or the interests of different people. We do night tours. We take them to dinner, we take them dancing, concerts, any kind of concert. I was invited to be the tour operator of choice for the conference delegates, so that they could get a chance to see something of Jamaica, because most times people come and it's an airport, a conference room, hotel room, and then they're back to the airport. So this time they're giving them a chance to have a little local experience and to see a little of what Jamaica has to offer, and we have a lot to offer. I just invite anybody who is a visitor to the island, and even if you're a local and you haven't seen much of the island, to come and join one of our experiences. You can contact us via telephone 876-817-3366, or we can be reached by email at showcasejamaicatours@yahoo.com. And of course, we have a website where you will see a number of tours being offered, and that's www.showcasejamaicatours.com.
That was CASJ's 21st General Meeting and Conference held at the UWI Mona. Thanks for tuning into Business Access TV, serious about business.
We are serious about the business of real estate, so catch Home Sweet Home Sundays at 4:30 p.m. or if you missed it, check our website at batvja.com.
Loving Hands Children's Network, LHCN, recently extended their loving arms to St. Richard's Primary School and Early Childhood Center as part of their campaign in Jamaica and the United Kingdom.
Loving Hands Children's Network is a social enterprise. We're a community organisation based in the United Kingdom. We've set ourselves up to help those in need, as in children, young adults with disabilities, those that are disenfranchised, and those young children, young people who are in real need, home and away. We have 5 representatives that work with us. We're all volunteers. Abigail and I, as we said, are co-founders. Yeah. We have 2 local representatives here in Jamaica. We have 2 representatives in the UK, and we have one who's a brand ambassador that's based in the United States of America. We're here to launch our Feeding Our Future campaign and to share our organisation with you guys in Jamaica.
I got a dream. And I wanted to fulfill that dream. So Antoinette and I became really close from working in the school because where our daughter attends. And I presented that dream to her. And because I look up to her as a mentor as well, which I don't think she knows, but so I decided to present that to her, being, business-minded as she is. And I decided to bring it to life, really. And the name came to me in a dream, as I said, and we wanted to add something else to the name that could broaden it. So that's when Antoinette decided, let's call it a children's network, and that's how the name came about. Growing up, my mom didn't have enough money for me to attend school, so I was on a feeding program as well. Used to get vegetable and milk. I'm assuming they're still doing that. Yes, so, and for me, like what Antoinette mentioned earlier, I've done my research, and, it's very important for kids to have a meal in the morning. It's very important. So that's what inspired me as well as my dream.
We've only been working with organisations in the UK at the moment, but then we've reached out to where we are here today, so St. Richard's Primary School and also the Early Childhood Learning Centre, because Abigail came to St. Richard's Primary School, and we wanted to, as we said, give back and to share various initiatives that we've been talking about. My own child has disability, so I have a 16-year-old son who has autism. So, totally understand the pressures and the constraints for a parent. And I wanted to share that outside of the UK because I was being reached out to online and social media by families and friends with children with special needs, and the lack of support and resources here in Jamaica for those children.
We would like the government in Jamaica to help to support us. We feel like special needs to be recognised more, and children should not be shunned because they've got a special need. So we would like that to be recognised more by the government. The importance of the supporting children with special needs, being a special needs teacher as well, it's so rewarding to see, when you get them from September and say, for example, they've got speech and language or some form of physical disability, and to see the progress, and sometimes just you alone cannot support enough children. So we need that, that extra support, that governmental support.
We've kicked off and launched our Future campaign, Jamaica, and that basically comprises of a breakfast feeding and healthy choices eating plan. So we're working with principals at St. Richard's, so Mrs. Maureen Wong, and we're also working with Millicent Wilson here at the Early Childhood Learning Centre to promote and provide children with, healthy options, optional choices, and to learn how to eat well. We're very conscious, we've done research, we've looked into the impact of having breakfast and how that can enable you and energise you in order to learn, concentrate, build the brain and growth. We're not saying we're health experts by any means, but we are caring and cherishing parents, so we do understand and see the value in having a real warm meal, full healthy meal, vitamins, minerals each day.
Future plans would be to for us to have sponsorship, because at the moment we are doing everything, it's self-funded. We would love to have sponsorship because we found it quite challenging, self-funding the Feeding Our Future initiative. So yes, it would be lovely to have some form of sponsorship from the government.
And I would also add that as well as sponsorship, we're currently, as I said, being approached by many organisations, and it would be nice to see beyond, siloed projects come to life. It'd be really, impactful across the island so that we can enter into all the parishes with the Feeding Our Future programme, which we do intend to do. We'd like to roll it across all 14 parishes. We also want to make sure, again, we roll out the youth employability, where we're working with private organisations, government bodies, in order to, again, raise awareness of young people entering into work. We know how high youth unemployment is, not just in Jamaica, but also for us back home in the UK.
We're working and we've got kids. And we still, we're on it because, we're passionate, very passionate about the children, very.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
St. Richard's Early Childhood Centre has been established since 1985.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters. Call us at 876-618-2870 or email us at sales@batvja.com. Business Access TV, serious about business.
Millicent Wilson is the principal of St. Richard's Preschool and Early Childhood Centre. She is grateful for the support that she has gotten from Loving Hands Children's Network. So too is Maureen Wong, principal of St. Richard's Primary School. Both schools have a breakfast feeding program for all students.
St. Richard's Early Childhood Center has been established since 1985. It was operated by the Catholic Sisters. However, over the years, it was closed and reopened in 1999. That's when I started here. However, in 2013, I became the principal of St. Richard's Early Childhood Center. St. Richard's is a Catholic school, and we believe in nurturing spiritual values, social values, positive social values, and with that culminating with the academics can only have excellence. We currently have 197 students, including preschoolers. We have a staff of 15, including caregivers, ancillary staff, cooks. We have 3 persons who operate the kitchen, because we do our breakfast program at 7 o'clock in the morning, lunch program, and we also cater for the aftercare students, so we also give them a snack. 6 classrooms, all trained teachers, and so our students are being catered for, not just nutritionally, but academically. St. Richard's Early Childhood Center is situated in a city community where you find some students may come to school with little or no breakfast, little or no lunch. Being a Catholic institution, we believe it is quite fitting to ensure that our students are well nourished. And so we started our breakfast program in 2013. However, the government had come on stream to help us out because now the government is focusing on nutrition. However, the funding that we receive from the government sometimes cannot cover both breakfast, lunch, plus aftercare because those students are here until 6 o'clock in the evening. And so we are grateful for the help that we can get from Abigail, just about any help that we can get to ensure that our students are well fed. Abigail was a student at St. Richard's Primary School, which it's on the same compound as the Early Childhood Center. And she has decided to partner with us for a breakfast program, right? And she's just given back to her institution. She's so much in love with St. Richard's Primary School and what she has achieved. And so we are really grateful to be a part of this venture.
Many people would say St. Richard's Primary is operated as a prep school, a preparatory school. We prepare our children here to go out into the wider world. We have an holistic approach, and everyone, just about everyone, we want their children to come to St. Richard's Primary School. We have a very good program here, and it's not just about academics, it's well-rounded. We have sporting activities, we have the arts, we have a mixture of everything here at St. Richard's Primary School. And we pride ourselves in our motto, excellence or goal. So whatever it is that we do here at St. Richard's, we aim for the highest, and we always maintain a very high standard. Our claim to fame really is our academics. And every year when our students do the grade 6 achievement test that the government allows for all schools, for the primary to matriculate to the high schools, we are always on top of our games. We have a high percentage of persons going to the traditional high schools. And so that is one of our claim to fame, our academics. Our teachers here, they are very involved, they are very dedicated. Here at St. Richard's, we uphold our Christian values. Many of the staff members are Christians, and so they impart this to the students. And also that we collaborate with each other. If it is that there's a problem in the family, they come and they speak with either the principal, vice principal, the guidance counselor, or just about the teachers. So we have an approach that says that we are family oriented and that we care about each other. We ensure that each child has a lunch. The PTA has a program where they adopt, so to speak, 10 students each year. They purchase the books and other supplies, the book bags, everything that 10 student needs. Also from outside, we get sponsorship for those students, especially those who are struggling in terms of the financial aspect of things, and that they, really show the true potential. So I have students who are sponsored by, persons out there who really want to give back to the society. And, we have persons like Abigail, who is a past student here at St. Richard's. And so it is that, we are considered. I just would like to add that I thank persons like Abigail from Loving Hands, who is on board with St. Richard's Primary, that other persons, when they see this, that they too can come on board, because the school will benefit a lot from persons who look out and give back to society in this way.
We are ready to make a positive change. So whatever the challenges are, it is for us now to find persons who are trained and capable to help us in any area.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
It's not just about a piece of bread and butter. These guys are really getting some really good meals here, and we try to change it each day.
Every day you wake up, you have another opportunity to make this little island better, safer, a place where we all can be proud to call home. It's time we all recognize that every little thing we do has an impact on the Jamaica we live in now and the country we're leaving for our children. So promise me this, promise yourself this: no more will we tolerate criminals, even if it's our relatives. Tell them they're doing something wrong. Tell them to stop. Tell them no more robbing our children of the Jamaica they deserve. Tell them no more crime.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life turns art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Kevin Nemard, the PTA president of St. Richard's Preschool and Early Childhood Center, sees the breakfast program as a welcome initiative.
When I got here and we saw that children here, the compare just drop them off and that's it, and some of them didn't have a meal, some might not have lunch on a day-to-day basis. Now the idea came that, hey, let us start do something. So we started off really small to see what would be the response of the parents and the children. And try to make sure that we have a balanced learning zone here that is not just about teaching yourself, but make sure that if once your tummy is full, you're better focused in class. You give less trouble in class because you hear the worms growling and stuff in the tummy. You're distracted, so you tend to want to give trouble. Now, when your tummy is full, from early because you're taught that the first meal of the day is the best meal. So here we started off, and our breakfast program is very. I think it's very good for me. It is awesome because it's not just about piece of bread and butter. These guys are really getting some really good meals here, and we try to change it each day. So one morning you might have porridge, real nice porridge. I tell the coolest auntie can cook, have Mercy when she go into the kitchen, everything just smell nice. Just smell it from way down the road and say, oh gosh, I can't wait to reach her school. So they might have like frankfurters and scrambled eggs, they have cereal, they have fruits. We have partnership with other persons who parents who might give us some fruits, or we have some agreement to buy fruits at a better price, and they have the holistic meal here to have. So it's not about us dry food and like, oh gosh, program and look source of porridge I get every day. So every day is something different, and these kids actually look forward to coming here. My parents telling me that I don't want any breakfast at home. The breakfast here is nice, so mommy don't need to do anything. Yeah, so so that was very encouraging to hear that. And it wasn't anything planned. A child came and she said that to me, and the parents saw me, and I'm like, okay, I didn't know it was that good. So it's a good project that we have here. Abigail spoke to us about her niece's intentions, and then we heard that she's not here in Jamaica, and she's in London there, and this is what she wants to do to give back. I thought that, okay, this seemed to be an interesting venture to do, because it's good to know that we can think outside of the box, and I'm happy that persons in their own little ways have a desire to want to give back to where they're coming from. Because one of the things we try to do here is to encourage persons that whatever you sow, as you heard the principal said earlier, the seed you sow today will benefit the community in the future. So if we can start here at this level, nourishing these young children's mind, encourage them to focus in on what is important, then we know that the future of Jamaica is much better than what it is now. So with our partnership with Abigail is, for me, a wonderful thing, and we're expecting great things with this partnership, and I hope that this thing will grow from strength to strength as we go along.
As St. Richard's continues to provide a holistic environment for our children, the parents are thankful for the thought and care shown to their children.
It's helped a lot, because in the morning when you wake up, even if you look out for breakfast at home, she's not going to eat it, but she loves to interact with the other kids when they're eating, so it helps out a lot.
It is very good because at home she doesn't eat, but eating here at the school, it helps because she interacts with other kids. So I think eating with other kids help her to eat as well, and she eat more.
I just want to thank those of who are helping to donate and continue to do it. I really appreciate it.
What do you want to tell me about your breakfast that you eat in the mornings and coming to school and having fun with your friends?
It's nice, and it keep my bellies when it's break time.
The breakfast program here is a cut above the rest. The kids get porridge, the vegetable, and my son and my daughter have breakfast every single morning, even if they have breakfast at home. It's their duty to have breakfast here. And so it's a time when the kids get to, I don't know what Auntie put in the breakfast, but my son seems to love the porridge. And so I can't make porridge like Auntie, and my daughter seems to love her lunch. And she's putting on a lot of weight, but I love that about the school. The teachers and the chef, I just want to tell you thanks for your hard work, for taking care of my children. They know my son by name, Nehemiah, so when he comes in the morning, it doesn't matter what time they have his breakfast prepared, because he can't function without having his breakfast at school. And to the principal, she's doing a superb job in the sense of my daughter usually attends a prep school, and it's St. Richard's is a cut above the rest. It is like a mini prep school with a very minimal cost. And to Miss Douglas, she is the most loving teacher and the most kind teacher. And to Shireen, my daughter, is so elated with the school. The ministry should take a page out of what St. Richard's is doing here and let other schools adopt what they're doing, because the students are learning and the students are being experienced to a whole heap of stuff. And I think what St. Richard's is doing is like, it's a first world country. It's what we get in a first world country, and that's what I love about St. Richard's.
I think we have a fabulous staff here. I think the teachers are just great. It's not just a job for them, it's their career. They love what they do. They take the time out to individually speak to children, even if they're being naughty, they take the time out to talk to the children, not about punishing them, but to show them and talk to them about what they're doing. And what would mommy say or daddy say if they heard that you were doing this, So we try to inculcate the family life here, and not just coming to school, but beyond when you go back home.
I'm from the diaspora and I want to give back to Jamaica the skills and experience that we have and things that we can leverage from the UK to bring to Jamaica.
Even though sometimes we may say this is hard work, but we are committed.
Whose side are you waving on? Waving on the next way, why, waving on the north side, so I wave. Waving on the north side. Whose side are you waving on? Waving on the north side. Whose side are you waving on? Waving on the next way, why, waving on the north side, so I wave, waving on the north side.
I wanted to be an educator because I believe that education is the most powerful weapon that can change the world.
My dreams and aspiration is to one day become an entrepreneur where I can employ other persons and help to build the country.
I wanted to go into development. I wanted to help people become better versions of themselves. Growing up, I saw a lot of violence, I saw a lot of crime, I saw a lot of poverty. The challenges are so many. The first one that comes to mind is the level of youth unemployment that's here.
Challenges that exist here in West Prospect Bogwalk are lack of awareness for educational opportunities or job opportunities.
Not many got a chance to do CXC or graduate from the secondary level. So that's a major setback for the people living in the community.
A way to alleviate this issue is training programs.
They need more opportunities, like to go back to school, to get themselves a certificate so they can be able to work and create employment for themselves and their family.
Push more entrepreneurship opportunity, encourage these youths to be creative and innovative in what they do. Give them startup capital to start their business. Invest more in the youth skills and talents.
The Poverty Reduction Program is funded by the European Union, and it really is a program that focuses on the most vulnerable type of communities, making communities safer, making citizens more healthy, better access to education.
For European Union, investing in youth is an obvious choice. They are the future of the country. If we prepare them well, they will bring the change that Jamaica needs. That's why we invest in scholarships, internship, training in life skills and mentorship.
I received a tertiary scholarship from PRP to attend the University of Technology, Jamaica. It meant a lot to me because I realized that somebody else believed in me and somebody saw the potential that I have and somebody believed that I could actually achieve my goal.
I benefited by getting firstly an internship, and also they assisted my bachelor's degree financially. But critically, outside of the finances, the persons that were on the project, the motivation that they provided, etc., it really provided a huge boost.
This is my third year at the MICO. This scholarship, it helped me to be able to focus only on my education here. because tertiary education is not cheap.
I was placed at ODPEM on the one-year internship program. It was really good. It was an opportunity for me to prove myself, to give myself a service, and also to gain experience in the working world, and to also provide for my family.
I plan to be an agent of change in my community by being a mentor, a leader, and a godfather for the youths growing up. Try to help them teach them a trade.
You don't have to be rich to help. You don't have to achieve greatness to start. I contributed to my basic school by providing them with the necessary resources that they need, that I believe that in the long run, it will have a ripple effect on many, many persons.
Professionally, I manage the HOPE program, which is aimed at giving young persons the opportunity to, do what I did, basically, to get their foot inside an organization. Additionally, I also have a little small business that I try to employ young persons to learn a skill, etc.
When you're persistent in life, when you're determined, when you're hungry for success, then you'll be able to accomplish and achieve anything that you want.
It has changed hundreds and hundreds of lives. Not just my life, my family lives, my friends' lives, etc. I want to just urge everyone looking on to continue these social programs. These are the solutions to the many ills that we face as a society and as a country and even as a world. So thank you, and I challenge you, continue it. It's needed.
Hello, my name is Blake, and with my wife Tishai, a year and a half ago, we established Def Can Coffee. We are a not-for-profit social enterprise aimed at engaging, equipping, and empowering deaf youth. So Def Can Coffee started by just taking our students on a field trip to meet Clark, who is a deaf coffee farmer from St. Elizabeth. And Clark, if you meet him, you'll never forget him because he's a character. And he is 78 years old, has grown and roasted coffee on a little farm in St. Elizabeth his whole life. As a family friend of my wife's who grew up around Clark, we decided, hey, let's take our kids to Clark's farm in St. Elizabeth, let them meet him, and just see if they wanted to learn more about coffee. Because at that time, we just wanted to expose our kids to a role model of somebody who's doing something as a deaf person. Well, the kids got so excited about coffee, they came back to Kingston and said, hey, can we roast coffee like Clark? We said, hey, we can try that. And so we got this little tabletop roaster that roasts a ½ pound of coffee at a time. We got some green coffee from Clark, and we started roasting. And pretty soon the boys say, well, can we taste this coffee too? We say, sure. So we got a Mr. Coffee machine that was collecting dust on the shelf, cleaned it up, and they started brewing coffee. And then people would come by and they'd say, hey, you want to taste our coffee? People would say, yeah. So they taste it and be like, wow, this is really good. It's like, yeah, it's fresh roasted coffee. It's got to be good. And then people say, well, can we pay you for this cup of coffee? And we say, okay. And it just really organically grew because the boys were doing everything as a group. As they started selling coffee to customers, their smiles got a little bit bigger, they started getting pride, and they felt affirmed. They had positive attitudes about themselves. About a year ago in March, we decided actually to not just roast coffee, but to start a small coffee shop here at the school campus. After 3 months of running it here at the school, we said, this has potential to actually employ people. This has potential to go beyond just the walls of this campus. And so in July of last year, we actually registered Def Can Coffee as a business name and started the formal process of developing ourselves as a legal entity. The name Def Can Coffee, when I look back on it, I just have to say, God knew what we needed. We never really had a lot of discussion. We never did a whole lot of thinking about what the name was going to be. So we just talked to the boys group, the boys Bible study group that this all started from. We said, what do you guys want the world to know? What is your message that's going to be the core of your being moving forward? And they said, we want people to know that we can. And we just kind of wrote out on the board, Def Can Coffee. It wasn't until a few months later that we actually registered the name when we felt like, yeah, this is the right thing to move forward with. But it just kind of happened because the boys, that's the message that they want to share with the world, is that they can do anything. And so Def Can Coffee was the resulting name. When we started, we had no idea that we were going to have a business. It started as just like a kind of a project to get the kids a little bit more excited and to have more confidence. We started with just roasting coffee, and so we were bagging it and selling it. And then from there, we started doing espresso-based drinks and lattes, cappuccinos. And then some people said, well, you know, it's already hot here. Some people are going to want cold drinks. We said, yeah, absolutely. So the boys saved up their own money and bought a blender and started doing frappuccinos. And then somebody said, well, let's blend up some fruit. So they started doing fruit smoothies. And then somebody said, well, we want to do a milkshake. So they started making milkshakes. They're working now on kind of a roots drink using vegetables and fruits and blending those up to make a really healthy drink. This is Nitro cold coffee. What we have is a keg, and inside of it is cold brew coffee. I think we're the only people in Jamaica that are doing Nitro cold brew coffee, which is cold brew coffee put into a keg, pressurized with nitrogen, and then the nitrogen gas infuses with the coffee, and it's served on tap. So we compare it to Guinness and tell people we have Guinness coffee. Tastes like creamers in the coffee. It's delicious. This is entrepreneurial and business education. And so grades 9, 10, 11 students came with their own recipe, and they bottled cold coffee and added vanilla flavoring to it. So it's an energy drink that's bottled and you can just grab it and go. We do kind of anything coffee, whether it's hot or cold. Anybody could come here and get something they want. We've had multiple people who are coffee connoisseurs who have come in here and said that this is the best coffee they've ever had in Jamaica. We've also had people that come in here and say, coffee? I don't want to drink coffee. Coffee's gross, you know? And so we'll serve them something else and they'll find something that they like. So whether you're a coffee purist or whether you want something that's sweet or whether you want something that's just a fruit smoothie that's healthy, that is refreshing, helps you keep going, we have something for you. So really, I feel like we can match most demographics and most market segments. Our tagline that we operate by is engage, equip, empower. My wife, being a deaf Jamaican herself, has grown up where she has seen a lot of people try to help deaf people. And a lot of their approach to helping somebody is by giving them things. And then they would wait to see what the deaf person would do with it. And inevitably, nothing would happen. And the person would walk away saying, oh, the deaf person can't do it. So we started from a basic principle that our students have to be engaged and have to have ownership in it. And so we said, okay, we'll save up your money that you're earning from these coffee sales and buy better equipment. So they bought their first espresso machine, they bought their first grinder, and it continued to grow with their own participation. So that's engagement. Once they're engaged and have ownership and want it, but then they need the skills to be taught to them. So that's when we partnered with various coffee shops, and Sidecar Coffee from the US was our first critical partner, and they were willing to come down here and put on a 2-day intensive barista training workshop for our students, and 17 of our boys got certified as a level 1 barista. And from there, it just has continued to take off where as we need funding, they save up their own money. They have objectives and goals of what they want to save up for next. They save up, and then we go out and get it. When we built this training center, this was really because as we saw the growth that happened in the first 4 to 6 months of the small coffee shop, we said, there's so much opportunity here because the kids want to learn more. And so we reached out to Digicel Foundation here locally and said, we have this vision and this dream of having a cafe training center. And they came and did a site visit and loved what we were doing and came alongside of us. Digicel Foundation gave us a $3.5 million grant to build the space that we're in right now. We also received funding locally from Harvest Call Jamaica, which is the not-for-profit that my wife and I operate here in Jamaica that does things outside of just the deaf schools. We also work with children's homes and infirmaries and hospitals, but we also got $10,000 US grant from them to build this training center. But my wife does not want us to go looking around for a lot of donations and freebies because the kids need to have ownership of it. They need to feel involved and that it's part of their business. The business part of it, where we actually go mobile and have a business that caters to the public is something that's really self-sustaining. We don't want to look for a lot of outside fundings for that because we want them to feel that it's theirs. We are making a profit. Again, because we've been operating within a school setting and students, and it's basically training for them, there's not wages or salaries. We're not paying full-time workers. So we don't have some of the overhead that a traditional business would have. Or as we grow and go out into the public, we will eventually have one day. We don't really have opening public hours. We don't want just random people coming off the street and coming here because we have children and we have to make sure that our children are taken care of and that they're protected. So we can't just have really strangers coming in. But we do have people that keep hearing about us and they show up at the gate. And if we're here, we'll gladly open up and serve them. But moving forward, we'd like to have a public space where then the general public can just go there to an offsite location. One of our goals at the very beginning was to create community, because that's really one of the things that our deaf youth lack in their life is community, that they really feel a sense of belonging to. So from the very beginning, we wanted to nurture that and make sure that we protected it and make sure that the boys that this started with, that it was theirs to run. But as it grew, deaf as adults started hearing about what we were doing. And so we started getting interest from outside people saying, hey, I've heard about Deaf Can Coffee, I'm deaf, can I get involved? And so we're not actively out there seeking people, they're coming to us, and through that we're able to kind of filter through the people that really want to learn and versus the people that are just kind of discontent with life and want something easy. Because one of the key principles that the boys understand is that you have to work hard. You know, business takes hard work, and you have to be committed to it, and you have to work together as a team. Through that we've developed Carlisle and Fabian as a manager and assistant manager, where they're really the leaders moving forward, and they know who to contact if we need somebody else. We have deaf culture already in existence, which has its own set of norms and values, and we incorporate those fully into the business. And so things have to be visually friendly, things have to be spatial. In our training center here, everything's open. And so there's not a way, so we can have a group of kids that are in a circle or semicircle where everything is visual. Everyone can see everybody and they can communicate clearly. So everything we do is kind of in a semicircle and open. And that's a cultural value from deaf culture. But then within the business culture, we're creating very much an emphasis on interdependence. First, we're very dependent on others. As a child growing up, we're very dependent. As we get into being teen years, we want to be very independent. We don't want anybody to tell us to do anything. As you become an adult, you realize you have to be both. You have to be dependent and independent, and that's interdependence. Don't you just focus on an area that you're really good at and try to become the best. Try to raise up the level of your peers too. And so through that, they're working together. And that's really what we want to embody in our culture, is a body that it's all about the team. And if one person fails, then we all fail. The concept of entrepreneurialism is something that our students didn't have a real strong grasp of before we started this. But as they've grown their own business, they're starting to realize what being an entrepreneur is all about. Mostly it's about learning. And a lot of the things that they've learned the most is that you have to take risks and you have to be calculated, you can't be foolish, but you have to try something. And so we are seeing more creative thoughts coming out of them in ways that we never really anticipated. We're seeing artistic sides of our students come out when they're thinking about marketing. They're saying, okay, how can we make this more visually appealing? And so we actually had students design by hand sketch a new logo for our cold coffee bottled energy drink. So one of our deaf students drew that, and then we sent it to Justin Forbes, who's a deaf graphic artist here in Kingston, and he developed the logo more fully for them that's digital that we print today. So in a lot of different ways, entrepreneurialism is starting to affect the way that they think, and starting to realize that inside of every one of us, we have creative capabilities and ideas that just have to be tapped into.
Cameo brings the creative industries to life, highlighting creatives in different fields each week. Art.
My life surrounds art. I breathe, I eat art.
Fashion. Food.
Without a customer, we're nothing but four walls.
Music. Film. Cameo, only on Business Access TV.
Have you seen it? It's BATV Live. Live streams of business news weekdays at 7:30 p.m. Stay on point Thursdays at 8 p.m. with our Business Current Affairs show, and Weekend Business Report Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. wherever you are. Log on to our Facebook page at Business Access TV or visit our website at batvja.com. Live and at your fingertips. Business Access TV. Serious about business.
We believe that Def can really go anywhere. And when you ask some of our boys, they're going to say, we're not just thinking about Jamaica, we're thinking about Def Can coffee being all over the world. And one of the reasons for that is because 90% of the coffee in the world is grown in third world and developing countries. In third world and developing countries, you're by default going to have less governmental program, less intervention, and lower education standards for deaf people. And so you can literally go into a coffee producing country where there's already going to be a disenfranchised, at-risk deaf community. And you can go in and you can get them engaged in that. And once it's a deaf person that's going in and training and teaching, deaf people by nature will just flock to it. And so the deaf community throughout the world does not share the same language, but they share the same cultural values. And so our guys could literally go to another country and walk around with a Def Can coffee sign anywhere where there's a deaf community, and people will come and want to know more. And you can engage people through that. And once they're engaged and want it, then you can equip them with the skills necessary to run it. And once you have a person engaged and equipped, that leads to empowerment. And so our boys have dreams and visions of being beyond just Jamaica. And that's something that I absolutely believe can happen. I think there are a few things that are critical for an entrepreneur. First, you have to believe in something. If you don't believe in it, there's no way that you're going to be able to convince and convey to your customer that it's worth their time or their resources to buy your product or service. And so it has to be something that you're passionate about. You also have to have a vision of where you want to go and allow that to guide your decision making. So here for us at Def Can Coffee, our vision is to have a deaf community and deaf youth who are empowered. And so every decision we make is, do we believe that this decision will lead to our youth becoming more empowered, or will this become a distraction? Besides kind of the theoretical vision things, you have to put in a lot of hard work. You have to be willing to make sacrifices. You have to be willing to take risks and learn. Every time you make a mistake, it's a phenomenal opportunity to learn something, and you'll never make that mistake again. Unless you don't want to view it as a learning experience, you want to be frustrated by a mistake, then you'll end up making that same mistake again. Success for us is not defined by what margin we're making, how profitable we are. We believe that if our students are getting the skills necessary and the self-esteem and confidence necessary to perform, that will all take care of itself. I think for my wife and I, our biggest fear is that somehow through a failure to guide this social enterprise properly, that we could actually end up convincing people that deaf can't. So what I mean by that is, and some of the experiences that we've learned from by making mistakes, say we have the opportunity to open up our own shop somewhere, and we say, all right, yes, let's do it, but we're not ready to do it. If we open up our own shop and have our own storefront and everything, but we're not actually to the point where we're mature enough as a business to handle that, and it fails, everybody that walked through those doors and saw it close are going to look at it and say, oh, Def can't. And so we've been very careful about how we grow the business. We've used the analogy with the students of as a child grows, they grow from an infant to a toddler to an adult. And as an infant, you learn to crawl, and as a toddler you learn to walk, and as an adult you learn to run. So we use that analogy with them and say, hey, we're still crawling or we're still walking here, we're not quite ready to run. Because if we don't manage that properly and allow it to grow sustainably, people are going to realize that Def can't. And that's the antithesis of what we want people to believe. We want everything we do to affirm that Def can. What motivates me is people like Clark, the man that started this, people like my wife, who are, through their lives, proving to people and demonstrating that Def can, that literally Def can do anything, and that there are some ways that Def can do things better. I get excited when somebody comes in here and says, wow, this is the best espresso I've had in Jamaica. And you see our guys, smile and stand up straight, and they're proud of themselves. That's what motivates me. Those moments where somebody comes in and says, wow, Def can. And then the response of our guys that say, yeah, we know. And as that confidence within them grows, they're starting to believe in other things they can do outside of coffee. And they're getting more confidence, and their own creative talents are starting to bubble to the surface. And we've realized that as we go and share this message, some of our boys are phenomenal with crowds. They're great with an audience. An audience will be sitting out there, and they'll be telling them a story, and their expressions that comes through their facial expression and their body language just captivates people. And realize this person could be on stage. They could do anything. And those moments where the general public gets it, where they say, wow, Def can, and those moments where our youth say, yeah, we know, that's what motivates me. I live for those moments where people just get it and they say, wow, I want some more of this. When you just can't go to sleep at night. When you're dead tired, you're completely spent, and you lay your head down, an idea pops up. And then your brain starts going again, and you just can't turn it off. So you're up at 2 in the morning, typing something out, or emailing somebody with something you want to tell, and just those are the moments where you're like, wish I didn't have this thing on my mind. Then you say, well, if I didn't have that, would life be as exciting as it is? And so learn to embrace those moments of inspiration, and to realize that those moments where you wish you could just turn off your brain, but it's still going, are actually some of the greatest moments to really just focus, get the clutter out of your mind, and sit and just put things on paper, get them out, and think about them. But I love the interaction that we have with different people that Def Can Coffee is attracting. Literally attracting people from all over. We've had people from all over the world that have heard about us and have come to see it. They may not be flying to Jamaica specifically for it, but they hear about it and they want to come see it while they're visiting. And then to have local Jamaicans that have come here and to realize, wow, the deaf community has a lot to offer. And so what we're hoping is that through this, other employers will come and see what the kids are doing. They'll see the commercials they're making. They'll see, the cakes they're baking and say, hey, I have a job for you. You can come work for me, because we're not really all about just trying to create this massive Def Can Coffee organization. I believe that because we are addressing a root issue in the lives of vulnerable people, that's God's heart. God's heart is for the vulnerable. He's for the oppressed. He's not about the people who think they have everything in life. And I think that as we have very carefully tried to address the true lack that's experienced in the lives of our kids, that God is blessing that, and He's growing it to allow us to fill up their cups so that our kids lack nothing anymore. They don't lack the confidence, they don't lack the skills necessary, they don't lack the opportunities in life to really grow themselves and use the gifts that He's given them.
The business community has suffered tremendously due to extortion. Some have not just lost their businesses, their jobs, but lost their lives. This is extremely impactful to the growth of our country and to the progress of our people. We are our brother's keeper. Let's put a stop to this. No more use of force. No more use of fear. No more extortion. No more.
As we've traveled around now, going through different places, the Digicel Foundation heard about us, and we showed proof to them that we could do it, that Def can. Digicel Foundation was so impressed by what they did, they gave us a grant to build a training center. And so now, as you saw over there, we have a new silver espresso machine that's really powerful. We're really happy for what we have. Our goal is to continue to grow our business. I think probably the most satisfying experience that I've had so far has actually had nothing to do with a cup of coffee. It's when I've seen my boys, our young men, stand in front of a group and professionally and powerfully explain the story of what's happened with Def Can Coffee. And when people in an audience, you see just a little bit of water get in their eyes and just a little bit of trickle down because they're so touched. Because our boys are developing the confidence that their natural gifting and talent is starting to bubble out to the surface, and people are seeing that. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing somebody that really hears the message of Def Can and can believe it with all their heart. Some of my favorite things to do are to get out of Kingston and go to St. Elizabeth. Where my wife is from is an area called Top Hill, St. Elizabeth, and it's the most beautiful place on earth, in my opinion. And so we love to go out there, just hang out. Love to go down to Treasure Beach and swim and hang out, enjoy the country life. Being an entrepreneur is full of sacrifice. There are times where you sacrifice relationships, but you have to balance that, because if at the end of the day you have a successful business but fail in relationships, then the business has no merit at the end. So there's a balance there. You sacrifice a lot of time. You sacrifice financially. There are times where you have to contribute to help the business grow and to take care of something that is just kind of out of scope but needs to get done. You sacrifice with other things in life that you like to do, maybe hobbies that you had before. Sometimes you don't have as much. I think my dog suffers sometimes. I don't spend as much time with her as I'd like to. We have some exciting opportunities coming up. Nothing is set in stone yet, but we're very possibly going to be opening up a full-time cafe or a coffee shop inside of another cafe. It's not named yet. They haven't decided on their branding yet. It'll be on Hope Road, and it will be their own cafe where we would be the coffee service. So they would be doing food, bistro kind of stuff, and we would be providing the coffee service. So that's one opportunity. We've also had a couple other organizations that have reached out to us and said, hey, we'd be interested, in maybe you running a coffee shop inside of our business at some point down the road. But nothing is set in stone. So right now we're focused internally using our new training center that we have here, thanks to the Digicel Foundation and working with them. Also, JN Foundation has reached out to us. They have a social enterprise booster initiative called SEBI, which we're in the process of applying to become a part of it. And then they would really walk alongside of us and help us develop some of the internal mechanisms that we need to give us a foundation where the business can grow. Def Can Coffee encouraged a group of our students who are grades 9 and 11 to join Junior Achievement. It's boys and girls both together. And through that Junior Achievement program, they came up with a vanilla cold coffee energy drink that's in a bottle. And this is what it looks like. As we've grown, we've said, all right, we want to create a message about this. And so reach out to somebody that can help us. But then as much as possible, we bring that internally. So we create a message for the National Inclusive Education Conference that happened last November in Montego Bay. And we developed kind of a framework for the message, but then the students kind of decide what they want to portray through that poster. And that poster was all about comparing a negative view of deaf person that says deaf can't with a positive view of deaf person that says deaf can. And that was really powerful. We've used that one medium in a lot of different ways. As we go travel mobile, we'll put that poster up on the table and allow people to come by and read it, because just by the interaction they have with the baristas, they're not going to get the full depth of the story, but then the story's right there in print form where people can read it and understand what we're all about. But we've honestly in some ways tried to hold back on some marketing, because again, we're struggling with this balance of we're on the campus of a deaf school. We can't just have too many people coming in and ruining what we're trying to do with the kids, because that has to be the primary focus. But as we go mobile, as we go out into the public, we're working on developing different marketing tools. But our website is phenomenal, and it's developed by one of our deaf students. He's a graduate of our school. He's now studying computer science at Rochester Institute of Technology in New York, and he's a computer science major. So he developed our website for us, runs it from abroad. He's actually going to come back this summer to do an internship for us to develop some more online based tools. But we're all on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is at Def Can Coffee. And so we're pretty streamlined as far as that. When people want to know how to contact us, it's Def Can Coffee. Just Google Def Can Coffee, and our email address is defcancoffee@gmail. Our website's defcancoffee.com, and then all our social media is there. So online has probably been our most successful mode of marketing as far as reaching out with our message to customers. And that was, probably a year ago when we realized this has viable potential business. That was one of our initial strategies, is go public, go to where the people are at instead of worrying about trying to attract people here. And then the second thing is partner with people. Any press is good press, and so we've had the opportunity to get several print media opportunities where they've written stories about us in the Gleaner and Observer. We've been on TVJ, we've been on several radio stations. We're now on Business Access TV, which we're really thankful and excited for this opportunity. If you're a young person or a person that has a desire to be an entrepreneur, you have an idea that you want to try, then I encourage you to go for it. But you have to understand a few things first. You have to be very committed to it, and you have to believe that what you want to do is going to make the world a better place. If you don't believe it makes the world a better place, at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to sell it to your customers and to whoever you want to reach. And you have to really believe in that. And if you don't believe in it, then you're going to run out of the energy, because there are times where you feel like, I want to give up. I don't want to do this. It's too hard. It's too impossible. And if you don't believe it makes the world a better place, then you're going to say it's not worth it. But if you look at some of the greatest businesses the world has ever known, it started with somebody that said, I believe my idea can make this world a better place. And when you start with that premise, if you believe that, then there should be nothing that stops you. And then my other encouragement is that as you go, don't try to do it alone. Reach out to people and partner with people that can help you. If you're selfish, if you try to keep it for yourself and say, no, I want to hang on to this, you're not going to allow your hands to open up to allow it to grow and to fly. And so you have to be willing to open up yourself to other people and say, hey, I want to work with you and I want to see how we can work together. And then the third thing is that you have to get the right people around you. If you have somebody that is inside that is toxic, that's cancerous to your organization, no matter how talented they are, no matter how many gifts they have, if that person is not matching the team, if they're becoming more about themselves than the team, you have to be willing to stand up and say, hey, you know what? We can't have this part of our team. And so you have to be willing to sometimes do the tough work, and you have to be willing to say no. When opportunities come that aren't really suiting your business model or your vision, you have to be willing to say no. And as an entrepreneur, you'll have a hard time sometimes saying no, but you really have to be willing to stand firm and say no. And then the last thing I would say is have a business plan. And if you don't know what a business plan is and don't know how to write it, reach out, because there are lots of people that are willing to sit down and offer advice and help you work through some of those components that maybe you haven't thought of.